Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very, very long overdue episode of Peace Talk. We are number 146, and I don't think I really need to introduce my guest. You've definitely seen us mob out in the internets together. This is my one and only official meme plug, StariAri, the Toltec Shaman. How you doing?
Hi guys. So if you guys see hashtag meme dealer, that's me posting on the Instagram for mystical illuminations.
All those fire memes you see me post that you think I'll be making? Nope. This is my meme plug. Shout out to Maggie. She another meme plug coming through.
Yeah, I always rewrite the memes. Like I have like this black border thing, but I'm just like, no, that's not enough. And I just type away.
Oh my god. And yeah, it helps me appreciate so much more. Just I hate to just bring this straight to astrology already, but that's what I've always admired about Sagittarius energy as a Gemini. Like just the ability to take any experience and just find the light or just a hilarious way, especially when it's not supposed to be made fun of. Like I feel like Sagittarius is one of those signs that's like, okay, how do I make a joke about this?
How do I make people laugh at themselves? You know, like I do this all the time. Okay, like I always like Maggie, like what the hell did you just
do? The wild card.
Yeah.
Right. What? And by the way, let us welcome Kelsey J back to the squad or to the Vibe Tribe or to the membership. All right.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, outside of that, oops. There we go.
Luke,
outside of that,
your father.
Infinity Club. Let's welcome her back to the Infinity Club. But yeah, other than that, shout out to Kobe coming in at the most relatable statements. But other than that, yeah, I just kind of want to share once again for those who aren't necessarily aware. Actually, for those who aren't aware, what is your sun, moon, and rising?
Oh, so I am super mutable, you guys. Like, if you've ever met a walking mutable, it's me. And then I met another one who has the opposite, everything mutable, which is Christy Aphrodite. You know?
Oh yes! Oh
like,
yes!
Me, guys, but reverse.
Right. And we just had a meeting with her last night. Like she's bringing the fire, the thunder, and the fire. Shout out to Christy.
Yeah,
but you're right.
So
in reverse
son,
too.
Yeah, my sun's in Sagittarius, my moon's in Pisces, and then my rising's in Virgo. And hers is like the opposite. She's a Virgo sun. I believe she's a Pisces rising, I believe, and then a Sag moon or something like that.
Like right there with Neptune too, like 29 degrees. Wow.
Yeah.
It's wild too because today I want to say I spoke to. First of all, I love what I do because within this work we do, we meet so many freaking amazing people that are like, wow, this is awesome. And one such person who I spoke to today, from the get-go, as soon as the consultation started, really just pushing the boundary forward on magic and really taking it to the next level and representing it. And of course, he's a Virgo rising, Pisces sun, Sag moon. I was like, damn, y'all be super magic out here. Right. Like, oh my God. And like synchronicity magic, like father being 33 while, also being a 33 life path. And then 33 Virgo. But yeah, no, it's wild.
I love you.
But go ahead.
So I was talking to Mike, if you guys want to know what I've been up to. A lot of things, but manifestation in particular of my millions that I've been playing the lotto like an old lady.
Yo.
You know, I always tell him, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you like get like 3 numbers or 2 numbers right, and that's it. And I'm like, what the hell?
Wait until you get all of them but one right.
Yeah.
3
And then,
times in a row.
yeah, and then I tell him, I'm like, and then as soon as I play the lotto, I get bookings like that same, like as soon as it happens. And then I'm just like, what is it? Like, what's going on? Like, why is this like so difficult?
That's wild.
Yeah, and then I asked him, I was like, you think it's because it's my Jupiter and Cap? Like my, you know, and then we have, what was the other one? Venus and Cap. And he was like, yup. Like, you gotta work for it. I'm like, shit.
Oh, but I was thinking about it the other way. Like, wait, what if getting readings, all you have to do is just play the lottery and then you could get readings individually? Like holy shit, did she just crack the code? Holy
For
shit.
lottery, guys, you're trying to get millions, right? And then all of a sudden you get like a shit ton of readings. Fuck, you're like, oh fuck. You're getting your millions right there. Like, it's coming slowly though.
Yeah, that's so Capricorn energy too. Like,
yeah, slow and steady. And I'm just like,
step. Yeah. Wow.
She was like, it's scratch offs for me. I can't do scratch offs, you guys. I get so like, come on, let me see, you know. Right away.
That's honestly, it's for that reason that I live in Vegas. I pulled a tarot card the other day. I pulled the Wheel of Fortune. I think it was like after the full moon. I was like, all right, let's try my luck. And I go to freaking the Wheel of Fortune casino, and I'm listening to Jay-Z because he's ruled by Jupiter. It was a Jupiter day, Thursday, and like I'm playing the Wheel of Fortune, and I have my Instagram open, and I have pictures of people who are like Sagittariuses or their sun's on my Jupiter, right? And like, I shit you not, there's certain people who I'll put it and like they always win. And then I was doing like a consecutive chain, like, oh snap, like this person. And then I would put someone whose sun's on my Jupiter, extra spin, and I like almost won the jackpot like 5 times like in a row. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. So I wanted to go for jackpot, but I just settled. I was supposed to play out my money, but I just settled.
Just kidding. Oh no, when
I tripled it, but still.
When I did go one time because I was kind of forced to go to the casino. I was out in Reno, Nevada. We were doing an exercise there in the military, and my sergeants, 3 of them, were like, "Hey, we need a 4th to sit here for poker." And I'm like, "I don't know how to play poker with the." You know, and he's like, don't worry, we just need you to sit here, okay? We just need you to sit here. We'll tell you when to hit or when to not, you know? And I'm like, okay. And so I would sit there. They all won, and I'll be like, what the fuck? I'm not winning shit.
Oh,
like, but they were giving me money to play, you know? Okay. So, because I was just like, okay, but I'm not winning anything. You know, they are.
Wild. That's wild.
But yeah, they just needed someone to sit there. They were just like,
right.
4th.
Oh my god. Okay. The luck of the oblivious. Word to Missy.
Right. No, but so, I did win at the slots because my grandma, like before she passed or whatever, every time anybody would like, because I have actual cousins that live in Las Vegas too. And anytime my mom or anybody was going to Vegas, they had to take her with them because that's all she wanted to do is play the penny slots, right? And she would always win. She would always win. And so she always like sat there the whole time until like the casino, like 1 a.m. and stuff. And then like my mom or my aunt will be like, okay, it's time to go, mom. Like, no, one more.
What?
Winning all the time. And so yeah, she just had that luck, I guess. She was an Aries too, so.
Oh, she's an Aries sun?
Yeah. I don't know exactly like what her moon and rising is. I don't know exactly her birth year.
Yeah.
She would never tell anyone. like we're like, why can't we know? You don't have to know. Like, okay.
Oh, gee, it's all good.
I was like, what the hell? And that's like there's like a mysteriousness to her, right? Because she was a healer too. And so there's always a mysteriousness to her. She taught us stuff and whatever, but there was always like we don't know much about her, right? And I'm like, I'm thinking she has Scorpio somewhere in there or something. That she just didn't want people to know, you know?
Right. Or maybe like I know in some cases too, not everyone had the birth certificate information back then.
Yeah, she doesn't. That's what she was saying. She's like, I was born in Mexico. That's all you got to know. And I'm like, okay.
She right though. That's wild. That's wild.
For real. God. Like, she was like that. And like, and it's funny because all her siblings are totally different. Like, they'll tell you their whole life story. And she was just like, I didn't even tell you anything. Like, it's funny.
Oh my God. Okay. I'd like to wager. I just looked at the Planet Watcher. I'd like to wager a bet with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Jupiter is gonna go back into Aquarius like the last week of July. Mm-hmm. So I bet that before then you'll probably hit the jackpot or win the lottery. while Jupiter's like near your moon.
Maybe. Hopefully, huh? Because you know what? Today I had a reading with one of my friends. She's like Heather Marie. I told you about her. She's a medium. You know, she just sees shit all the time. So anyway, I had a reading with her because I was like, tell this motherfucker. Because it was one of my guides.
Holy shit.
It was bothering me, you know? And I was just like, what is his problem? You know? Like, I was like, let him know. I'm telling him.
Oh God.
And so she's like, because I already know what his problem is because I'm not doing something, right? And so he's a nitpicker. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense. And so like, so I told her, I was like, let him know I'm doing everything. And she's like, yes, you're doing everything your own way. She was like, that's what he said, your own way. And then she was like, yeah, but you're forgetting something and you know what it is. And that's why he's bothering you. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I know what it is, you know, but it has to do with my schooling or whatever. So I was just like, oh, I know I need to do this. I don't really want to do this. So we're learning because I'm taking my master's, right, in clinical mental health counseling. And then we're learning this chapter about white privilege. And I'm like,
is that critical race theory?
No, it's not. It's how to counsel diverse populations.
Oh.
And so we're learning that, right? And so there's some like language in there that I'm just like, okay, that's kind of offensive, you know, like, and I'm just like, all right, you know, I understand that you guys want to like really teach us that, hey, you know, check your privilege or, you know, whatever your mentality at the door. I understand that, but sometimes it's like the way that they're presenting it is just like offensive
or entitled.
Yeah, entitled and offensive, but it's not. It's not directly that. It's more like they're trying to cater to the minorities, like someone like me, right? And so,
which is even more offensive because then it's like
because
they're pandering.
Like, I never experienced that. I'm sorry, like I've never experienced it, you know, and so they're trying to push at me. Like asking me questions like, oh, you as a minority, do you feel that sometimes you get picked on because you're a woman and you're a minority? And I'm like, no. Like,
loaded question much?
Like, I get picked on by people who are my own heritage all the time, you know?
There we go.
Like, white people leave me alone. Like, it's true.
I'm not gonna lie. In my experience in high school and growing up, I kind of experienced a bit of both. But yeah, it's generally, you know, Your own people. Right. It's interesting though. Like, no, that's very wild, especially because, and I'm glad you mentioned, what you're currently studying right now. But yeah, it's been fascinating to watch how desperate they're still clinging on to this race narrative.
Yeah, and putting itself into these practices, these establishments too, and so I'm just like this is like a new course they just created, I think they just started it like back into 2019 or something like that, and so I was just like, I'm sorry that people have that experience, but I personally haven't had that experience.
Shout out to Jay Leaves.
I was like, I've had it with my own people, like I've been called a lot of things. And so like, Mexicans especially, not gonna lie, they are very mean sometimes. So
I used to live in El Paso, trust me.
no, they are though.
Yeah.
They say some fucked up shit to you, like thinking that you don't know Spanish, and you're like, really?
Yo, I almost appreciate it now because it's like clockwork. It's interesting. I guess it's all love.
Yeah, no, like my fiance, he was asking me the other day. He was like, "What does maricón mean?" Because he said that he understood this one guy.
Oh my god!
He had like they were.
Did he say pinchy maricón or just maricón?
Yeah. So they were observing him for like, I guess, suicidal ideations or whatever. And he had them, and he's like, whatever, pinche maricón or whatever. And he's just like, okay, I know you're being mean to me right now, but I don't know what maricón means.
Oh my god, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, and so he asked me, and I'm like, it means gay or the F word.
The F word, right.
He's like, what the hell? And then one of the nurses was like, yeah, you're gonna find a lot of maricones in prison.
Oh no! Oh, he said that. He told him that next time.
One of the nurses told him that.
Oh
He's like,
God.
yeah, you're gonna find a lot of those guys in prison. Like,
oh my god, that's so... oh my god.
I was just like, oh my god, dude. But yeah, like that's what has been my experience. I've never really had any like never really had a confrontation or anything like that with with anybody else beyond my own family members, and I actually fought my own family members. They wanted these hands. So they were asking for them.
Right.
It was my male ones too. So I was just
there we go. So you showed up. That's what's up.
I was serious. Like that's like, I think that's the extent of my like boxing, especially because my cousins, like all of them, that's like, this is a Mexican thing. I swear, everybody likes to box. Like, it's a Mexican thing. Everybody wants to box, be a boxer. Like, so Julio Cesar Chavez and all these boxers and stuff. And so I was just like, all right, let's get in this. Because I got cousins that are talking shit, Right. So yeah, our uncles actually made us box.
Oh, y'all had a whole
you guys
fight.
want to fight each other? All right, go on. Let's go box then. Like,
That's awesome. That's what's up. Oh my god. Yo, that's wild. Yeah, but I love that you brought that up too, because it's almost as if when it's I don't want to say in race, but it's almost when it's between people personal to you, like it doesn't count anymore, which it is what it is.
Yeah. It does have a lot of problems though. Like, even in the military, like if they knew you were beefing with someone in your home, like that you worked with, because we were trained to do combatives actually every other month. And so if they knew you guys were beefing, they would partner you up so that you guys could beat the shit out of each other.
Yo, that's what's up. Like on some hockey shit. I like it.
Oh, shit, dude. They
Yo.
I was beefing with the biggest guy.
Oh my gosh.
Quadrant.
You know they place bets like I got 50 on Ari.
Yeah.
And they're just peeking to the corner like, oh
This
shit.
dude was like fucking 6'3", 210 pounds, and then like because we just didn't get along, you know, and so they're like, all right, you two are gonna be combative partners. I'm like, fuck yeah, like, you know, and he was just like, what? That's not fair, you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was. Some of the moves that I did were fucked up. You know? They were like, no, you can't do that. Well, he's bigger than me, first of all.
Right, you're right. You even it out. You balance it out.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And I was like, first of all, if he was an actual person out in the street trying to mess with me, I would do this move. You know?
Sparring.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah. We were taught eye gouging, and so I did that.
Oh my god! Oh, y'all were beefing.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, it's serious. Okay, the word. Yep. That's wild. All right, that's what's up. So, you know what I love about Sagittarius, especially, and I'm gonna say, you know what I love about Sagittarius women. Y'all are the quintessential poster board for get you a woman who could do both. So I remember meeting another Sagittarius a long time ago that also I met her at a music video shoot, but I didn't realize that she also served in the military.
Oh, really?
And was of a high-ranking position. I fell in love at first sight. Like, oh my gosh, like, you know, that moment. And y'all know what I'm talking about. It happens with Sagittarius. And then I realized, oh shit, like she high-ranking officer, like she knows how to mobilize a gun and basically like kick you in the face and like strategize. So like that, right. Which is fascinating to me too. Like, you know, I think we've always been introduced to this Piscean moon aspect of you that's super compassionate, nurturing, and I have to remind myself, hold on, like she can whip some fucking ass. Like she could probably do a tactical mission and like get this impressor and it's like boop, 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 like holy shit. Like damn, I forgot. That's crazy. And then not only that, we got the Virgo rising that's coming into the master's degree and like that's amazing.
No, the the tactics aspect was like really because I went to South Korea and I was a staff sergeant, which is an E5, which is a sergeant. Okay, pretty much the first tier of sergeant because there's more, of course. And then so I was there and I had to train a lot of people in combatives and as well as tactics, especially when it came to actually overwhelming one of the villages that we had outside in the perimeter, because the Koreans actually let us mess with one of their old like villages that they don't ever, you know, live in. And it was pretty fun. They're all empty like houses. They're all built up, so it looks just like you're going into like a freaking city, right? And so we were there, we're like, I was like, fuck it, blow them up, fuck it. Like I was just like telling them, because we had like the fake, they're kind of like the they're smoke grenades, so they're not gonna explode or hurt you or anything like that. They're just gonna smoke people out. And so I was like, just do it, you know, like I was just encouraging to do like the most chaotic shit, and at the same time, you know, be able to control like the perimeter as well as like the higher ground and stuff like that. So I was just like, yeah, let's go for it. Because every other sergeant was like, nah, man, I'm not doing that. Like, nah, like I'm not getting out of the Humvee. No, I'm not doing that. I'm like, come on, man. Like they're in the freaking houses. So it was pretty fun. But yeah, we learned how to do all that stuff.
Wow.
In South Korea. And of course, one when we went like in the US, there's a lot of training facilities that we go to. In Nevada, we're going and doing some crazy shit too. But yeah, there's a lot of training that I went through, and like my fiance went through as well, because we came from the both from the Air Force, and that's how I met him in England when I was stationed there. And yeah, so we met there. He's an Aquarius with a Taurus moon and a Libra rising.
Libra rising, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And his Venus is in Pisces. Yeah. Nice. So I'm like, mine's in Cap, and so I'm like,
right.
Like that. But yeah, we still wrestle. Like he'll say something, you know how you Aquariuses are. You'll say something smart, and then you're just like, you're testing me, okay? You're testing me. And he'll be like, whatever, you know, like thinking like, oh, you're not gonna do anything. Yeah, right.
Oh my God. I'm mad that you're on point right now. That's true.
Yeah. All you air signs are like that. You guys test us. Test the water.
We test the waters. Yes. We push the limits.
Yup.
I feel like Gemini is like double speak, and Aquarius is just like, I said that. What?
Yeah, and that's exactly. Because I used to date Geminis, right? And I hated it, like, because they'll I'm something under their breath, and I'm like, say it to my face, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding, you know?
It's like we say it, and then you're like, what? And then we say it a different way, like,
yeah, like I did it this way, like trying to be all funny, and I'm like, okay, and then Aquarius is like straight out, no, I said what I said. Yeah,
Aquarius, you have to be like, they didn't. Oh my God, they just said that right now.
Yeah, like what? Double take, like what? And then I just hear that.
And then Libra is even more subtle. Libra, they'll say it, and then you're like, wait, did they diss me, or was that a compliment? Like, what? Holy shit.
Yeah, Libra, you know what? It's one of those backhanded compliments.
Yes.
Like, oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Wait, what, motherfucker? Hold on. Holy shit.
Like, it was funny because I never dated a Libra, right? And like, because I had almost all the guy friends that I had were Libras too. I just couldn't date them because they were just like that. Like, they'll say some snarky shit, like, but complimenting you at the same time. And I'm just like,
Libra's like, why are you mad? Why are you mad?
I love you. I'm like, oh, get out.
Like, all right. So, Ari, I'm still never going to forget that the first day I ever met you in the Leo Kingdom studio, you gave me an exorcism with Jax. It was hands down the most gangster shit, y'all. Jax and Ari and Emmy at the time, but really it was just Jax and Ari sat me down and just, you know, dragged me to filth proverbially. And I'm not even gonna say drag me to filth, like exercised me, gave me an energy. It's like, oh, we're doing this now. This is everything I always wanted to do. And then Ari gave me a Starseed Galactic reading that just basically put me on the map. Like, yep, you fuck with the Lyrans and the Vegans. And meanwhile, everything, like, I have no idea about these star systems, but everything that she's saying is directly correlating with everything that I had just come into understanding. And it's almost as if you read my chart without seeing my chart too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how it usually happens when it comes to like galactic stuff. Like they just give you little hints, especially because hello, they're out there. You know, they're out there. But they give you little hints and little like indicators of like planets and stuff like that, like energies that you are basically like working with. Like when I met you, I didn't think you were a Gemini. I thought you were Cap, honestly. I
wow.
Because you're very quiet and very like observant as well. So I was like Earth sign, and then I kept hearing Capricorn, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then he has Capricorn.
Wow.
And then you started like being yourself, you know, like being all friendly, and I'm like, air sign. There's an air sign there.
Wow. The word. So that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah, so I was just like,
All right.
oh, there's probably gonna be a Gemini because I'm always, like I said, I always attract Geminis all the time, and
Yeah.
so yeah, so I was like always for a while Gemini or Libras, and just like
Okay.
damn, but like
Yeah.
friends, too. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that was pretty cool. And then of course one of your ancestors popped right in, like the first being that I saw. I was like, oh, what the heck, like
Nice. I
you know,
forgot that.
yeah, the witch doctor, the guy that I told you about. That
Yes.
guy
Oh
popped in
yeah.
right away, and I was like,
Right.
"Holy shit! Like this dude needs to be a healer or whatever." Like he was just like looking at your hands and going like this, and I'm like, "Healing hands," like
That's awesome.
healing hands. But yeah, so I saw that, and then I gave Craig one too, and Craig right away, I already knew he had a Leo placement, and then
Mhm.
and then I felt the Scorpio too.
Shout out to Craig.
Yeah, because Scorpio is really like they're quiet but intense. Like the way that they look at you, like they're just reading your thoughts. I'm like, oh, that's a Scorpio. My Pisces moon's like, but he's so reserved, and so it's just like, and then when I saw his nice hair, and I'm like, he takes care of his hair. That means he might have a Leo placement there.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Because you know how he has really nice hair, so, every time. or either that or a Cancer placement, because they do the same thing with their hair.
He's
Like,
Jesus Craig.
Jesus Craig, yeah.
Yes.
Walks on water and everything.
Yep. Yep. That's just it. Smokes good weed, cooks good food. That's
Yeah.
that dude.
Yeah, that dude is. Whoever he ends up with, man, they're gonna be a lucky woman. I'm just saying, because he knows how to cook. He'll take care of you if you're hungry, like for real.
King of Cups. For sure.
He'll probably end up with a Taurus. Yeah, baby.
Ooh. I'm trying to be at that wedding. That's the thing.
Right? Like, yeah, cook for me, honey. Take care of me. Be my personal chef.
That's Yo. Yeah, so I mean that's amazing, and that's another thing that I'm just remembering now. When I met you, I still had a huge resistance to just following my intuition.
Yeah,
So
that was another one. Yep.
so there would be the Gemini part of me that would want to be like, okay, she's not really channeling all this, but it would be so on point, real time. Like, wait, but no, she's completely real. Like she is channeling all this, and then it's like, okay, wow, which was crazy because I still accepted and believe what you were doing, but still the methods of how really helped me like accept more how authentic and like at one level real it is, but then two, like how gifted you are too, because I forget too what you kind of do make look easy some very complex stuff that
it just happens.
right.
Like I don't have to prepare, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. It's just like
a lot of people, tell me that. Like one of my mentors, for example, they say, because like they're I think it's Pluto in Libra generation, right? And they were talking to me about like, because one of them, especially Daniel, he was talking to me about how easy it is for the next generation, which is us, to just do things, without even having to do all these crazy like ceremonies and like initiations, things like that. They just know things, they just do it, right? And so he was saying that he's like, it took me, like he was, for his example, it took him like until he was like, I would say 20 something, almost 30 years old, to actually go and get on the spirit path. And the reason why it even happened was due to an injury, and it's like we have people he's pointing at me and like all the other people who are like my age in the group. Like, we have people here though that they were just on the path already, like when they were born, you know, like they didn't really realize it until they got a little bit older, started realizing, you know, oh, that's what my grandma does, you know, like that's what this is, you know. And so he's like, so, you know, bless you guys that you guys, you know, didn't have to go through a lot of the stuff that our generation is going through in order to receive our gifts, you know, or access that easily. And so so that's what he was saying, that it's like, and even more now that Pluto and Sag generation is even more psychic, even like I would say like the most.
Oh yeah, right now they are with the Uranus and Neptune and Aqua. Like they're about to create the new world. So
oh yeah, definitely. And it's just like I'm just like astonished at how young they are and how with it. You know what I mean? Like they talk to
some
me.
of them I be thinking are older than me, and then I'm like, wait, you're born 97? You're born 96? You're born 90? I thought you were damn. Holy shit. That's what's up.
No, like what's her name? Misty Callie.
Right.
She was born in 2000
and when I met her in person, I thought she doesn't necessarily look like an older woman, but I thought she was like my age.
I thought she was our age too.
Right. I was like, holy shit.
She said my birthday, and I'm like, what the fuck? This girl, she's probably older than us in the spirit world, but
right?
You know what I mean?
Straight up. I was like, holy shit. It blew my mind. I was like, damn.
I was like, she's born in 2000s. I was like, you're born in 2000s, man. I was in the Air Force already. Like, I feel fucking old.
Yo, that's why. Oh, my back. I just pulled my back muscle right now. But yeah, I mean, that's wild because that's a discussion in of itself, because Pluto Capricorn is creeping up too, and they're about to take over the world, really.
Yeah, I think what it is like if you believe in the flames or the indigos and all that stuff, I think the indigo generation began in like the 1960s and 70s, right? And then from there in like 1980 something, it shifted into like a second wave of indigos.
Right.
And so we are kind of wrapping up what the first one started, right? And then it's a completely different energy that's coming in with the Scorpio and Sag and the Scorpio and Cap. Right. They're builders. I feel like they're the ones that are building, and
the Sag, right?
Yeah, we're the ones that are taking away the debris, the leftover debris, right? And they're the ones that are like, okay, we're gonna start building stuff now. Like, and we're the foundation builders too. That's what I heard. We've built the foundation so that they can build upon that.
This is everything that I love about what you just heard and said right now, which is just terrifyingly accurate, because literally our generation from 84 to 95, that's Saturn and Scorpio to Saturn and Pisces, and it's literally Pluto Scorpio clearing the debris, and then Pluto Sag has the Saturn and Aries, and they're literally building, like all the 98, 97 Saturn Taurus are building with Aries sparks, and then that's going to be there till like Saturn Virgo, and then bam, Capricorn takes over, and then
and the rest, you know, like the systems, because of that Scorpio and Cap, is the systems are going to be it's like we reevaluated the systems, right? And we are getting rid of the shit that doesn't work, right? And then they're the ones that are going to create the newer systems. That's what, like, I feel like that's because of that Cap and stuff. So that's like, here's a newest system now. Like, this is way different than any other system that has been in this world. You know, it's like,
and they can all channel aliens fluidly.
Like that. Like,
it's like, oh, you guys don't see that frequency there? Oh,
dude is staring at me.
Right, like I thought y'all saw him too. Oh shit.
Yeah. No, my daughter, she was born in 2007, and she is so hers is a Cancer sun, Aries moon, and Scorpio rising. And so she's highly intuitive, highly intellectual though. Like she is like science and spirituality big time.
Is her Saturn in Virgo or
I
Leo?
hold on, let me check.
I think Leo.
It might be Leo because from what I remember. But her intuition is so on point that she knows things like calculations without even knowing how she knows them, like without practice.
Wow.
Like she was like going through her like she's like I was just looking at this algebra thing or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, this is so easy." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Aren't you supposed to take notes?" She's like, "No, I already know this stuff." And I'm like, "Huh? From where? You alien?"
Oh.
Yeah,
That
she's
it's
like, just she's a
it's because of
natural.
their generation that I'm like, okay, I have until they're 30 years to get the fuck out of here because like it's probably not gonna be safe. Not because they're irresponsible, but like, I just, it is because then their powers are gonna manifest and like,
Dude,
right. I'm gonna be in the mountains just chilling.
yeah. She's freaking awesome. Like, it's funny. She was just like, "Hey, mom, I have a question. So there's this, orb. It's this color, and does this mean this?" And I'm like, "Holy fuck, she does know!" Like right away.
That's
Like she
wild.
knows things, and I'm just like,
And then she inherited your gifts too.
yeah, yeah. She's
Wow.
highly like with her intuition though. I like that she has that Scorpio because it protects her from like bullshit, right? And
Right.
so that's why I love it. I love it, right? Because I was talking to her the other day about like her friends, right? Like I was just like, "So how are your like how are your friends?" I want to like to pry. Who are your friends? Who are you talking to? Like and she's like, "Oh, they're this and this and that." And I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Do you have a friend that's like all gloom and doom and like feel bad for me?" And she's like, "No, I got rid of her a while ago."
I'm right. Yo. Oh my god.
I was like, "Oh God, so
So she's turning 15 or 16 this year?
she's gonna be 14
14. Okay.
in July. So I'm just like, holy fucking Scorpio just went into like, nah. Bye.
I cut that bitch off a long time ago.
Pretty.
Oh my god.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. That confirms my theory that Pluto Aqua kids are gonna be baby geniuses.
Oh, they are, dude. Like the
They're just
kids
gonna
that
be
I
like 5 years old telling their parents off, "This is your problem, mom, and this is your problem, dad. You need to do this, and that." And they're like, "Oh shit, damn, okay.
Yup.
Wow, this is great."
Yup. Like because I work with kids in high school and middle school too right now. Oh my god.
Oh,
Their
nice.
freaking energy, you guys. Like the high school kids are better. Like they're good at like kind of like masking it, right? They're not pushing it out because they're more like aware of it.
Mm.
Like I swear, like they're really aware of their energy fields and the way that they treat each other is super nice. Like I've never seen anybody like I only see one or two get into like an argument or freak out, but everyone is really calm and collected, highly intelligent and really nice, and so when I look at the middle schoolers, of course they're still middle schoolers, right? So they're always like trying to have fun and include it, but they're inclusive too. Like they're always, "Hey, let's go." If they see a kid, "Hey, come on." Like it's not like when we grew up, right? Like we're just like, "Oh, that kid stinks, so I'm not gonna play with that kid." Like you know how we were, right?
Oh, mean ass Pluto Scorpio.
Freaking mean,
Right. The Capricorn. Yeah.
And so
Oh shit.
so they're way different now, and I'm just like, and I watch them,
Hold on,
right?
hold on, hold on. I hate to interrupt you, but like that's actually a staple I remember of growing up in high school. Like every morning we would just walk into the before the first period of class, and it's just you make your rounds. Like we had a diverse school, so you would literally hear every race joke in the book in the first 20 minutes. Like you ain't shit, fuck
Yeah,
you, blah 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 blah, and then we go to class. All right, peace out, guys.
yeah, talking shit to each other all the time, or freaking throwing hands, like,
Yo. Oh, So it's like, oh wait, I thought that's so we know that as more endearment, not bullying.
Yeah.
Like, oh okay, oh shit, my bad. I felt like that happened with me, so I had this weird feeling, like my brain saw that, but I felt like there was someone here, like, but
There's somebody here.
oh my god. So Ari, you're so fascinating, and when taking into account that you were born doing what you do, how would you describe like your journey becoming a Toltec shaman, and what does it mean to be a Toltec shaman?
So from the start, I did not like people.
Yes! Oh, that's the best shit ever. Okay. Can you say that again? Can you say that again?
Listen to me. This is why, because of my gifts. That's why. Okay. So I think one of my first memories was when I was like 3 years old, and I was like, my sister was being mean to me. My older sister. She's a Leo, by the way. Leo sun, Cancer moon, Capricorn rising. So anyway, bully energy right there. Those three, bully energy. so she would always pick on me, right? And I remember one time that I got out of my it was like, I think it was a bassinet, because my dad, I think I was way younger than 3 if I was a bassinet. I remember crawling, because I remember putting my foot like on the pillow thing or whatever, and then like pulling myself over. And I remember I was running towards the door because my sister was going outside with my cousins, and so I was just like, wait for me, and then my sister's like, no, you're too little, and she closed the door, and I couldn't even reach the door handle. So yeah, I was way younger than 3, and so freaking out because I wanted to play. After that, I was like, I don't like people.
She woke up very young, y'all. That's what's up. That's what's up.
So my dad used to work night shift, right? So he would be home when I was like, because I was still not in school. And so that's what I remember, is I wasn't in school at all. And so he would take care of me, and he would just sit me next to him on the couch, and then he'll put on The Simpsons for me. And so that's what we did. I would sit next to dad on the couch and watch The Simpsons with him while he fall asleep or whatever. And then by the way, my dad's a Pisces sun. He's an Aries rising, and I believe his Libra. I think he's a Libra moon. I think that's what it was. But anyway, he was like always like taking care of me, and so he would always let me watch whatever I wanted, and so he was really nice. Okay, and so but this whole thing happened because of that, because of like the intensity that I would feel from people, and I just wanted to stay away from certain people in particular. Like, you can see pictures of my mom has these pictures of me being, she said I was being mean. Where she would like, oh, go hug your uncle and go take a picture with this person, or go take a picture, like with relatives or whatever. And I'll be like as a little kid, I'm like, and she has all these pictures. She's like, oh my gosh, you're like, she'll get so embarrassed, and I'm like, no,
my god.
Yeah. But I wouldn't cry though. I would just be like, you got gaga energy.
The Virgo rising side eye face. There we go.
Yeah, that's right. What it was. And I'll be like, ooh, they got gaga energy. Like, I don't like you. You're evil. But yeah, so I was always like, I always felt like in so many ways, like what they were planning or what they planned. Like in particular, when I had like some relatives that were into stuff that I was just like, yeah, you guys are straight out evil, like straight out. And so, like, for example, I believe it was one of my, 69 likes. 69. No, just kidding.
Big Sagittarius energy.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Oh shit.
No, So so one of my it was like my mom. Okay, so my grandma and her sisters and my great aunts, you know, things like that, they didn't really go to church, you guys. Like they didn't believe, right? Because they had, you know, gifts. They're healers, curanderas. And so they wouldn't really like they would always say you don't have to go to church in order for you to feel the presence of God, right? And so my mom on the other hand forced us, you know. And so she had friends, well, actually relatives, that she made my godparents, and I knew right away the godparent that they chose for me was evil as fuck. So I was like, no, I don't like him. So I wouldn't be nice to him at all. Like as a kid, man, get away from me. And you know, like I think it was when I was like 6 years old, he ended up getting shot to death, and that was just because he was doing some deal. He was dealing some with some bullshit, right? And so I was like, I knew it. My whole like, you know, intuitively as a 6-year-old, I knew he was evil. Like, like he was doing some bad shit. That's what happens, you know. And so it's your evil relatives. But yeah, so I was definitely very in tune as a kid, and so I really love to spend time by myself. I didn't like interacting with other kids. Like I think my first experience with playing with other kids wasn't great because I didn't want to play for one, and they wanted me to play, and I was like, no, get away from me. So that was definitely a big issue for me. Like even if I wanted to isolate myself at school, I couldn't because there was always a kid like, let's go play. Come on, you know. I'm like, no, I don't want to. But yeah, that's definitely a thing where you're like trying to be like, don't look at me, don't interact with me.
The Pisces moon being
you.
invisible. The invisibility cloak.
Yeah, I'm like invisible.
Which sucks because the Sagittarius is like, I'm the light, and everyone can't help but not notice you, or everyone can't help but notice you.
Well, it didn't help that I was good at stuff, you know, like sports and stuff like that, and like without even trying, I was just like, I kicked the ball really hard. Okay, cool, you know. So that's when they were like, we pick her for our team, and I'm like, no, I don't want to play. I don't want to play.
That is literally an episode of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. I have to show you that episode. You're gonna die laughing. It's this show about this psychic who like is so powerful. All he wants to do is live a normal life, but like he has to, if he throws the ball too hard, like he in that episode he was trying to like play shittier so that people's like expectation of him goes down, but he'd accidentally do shit and people would like him more, and he's like, fuck, what do I do? So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that and that as a kid I would isolate myself. Like my mom hated it. She's a Sag, by the way, Sag sun. She actually has the same placements as me. Sag sun, Pisces moon. I don't know her rising though.
That's the same with my mom, Gemini sun, Cap moon, but I don't know her rising or time birth.
But yeah, so she was like in big denial of her gifts and abilities, right? Because everybody else in the family believes in themselves except for her. And the reason why is because of things that happened and transpired with her when she was a kid. But like for example, she just like, I think it was back in like when I got out of the Air Force, so 2014, she finally told me, because I was talking to her about, you know, like, oh, shamanism and stuff like that, healing and things, and he's just like, oh my god, you're just like my uncle, blah blah blah, and he healed me miraculously when I was 6 years old, and I was like, are you serious? And she's like, what? And I'm like, so now you want to tell me this?
Yeah, my mom did the same thing. Like she wants it because she raised us Christian, so like she doesn't want us. She never wanted us to get into the occult or witchcraft. But one time she was just like, "Oh yeah, your great grandfather would troll our grandma. He would just turn fish to life, or he would actually tell us that." We would travel 3 hours to the next town, and then he would leave like way after us and get there before us. And it's like, wait, you didn't tell it? Like, wait. But like, she didn't want us to like look at that and like be impressed by it because
yeah, and that's how she was too. Where her uncle, who was my grandma's brother, he was a healer in Mexico, like a big one, like big important guy in his village, and he would have people come from God knows where to go get healed, and him and his wife would do it. And one time, my mom, she had the measles, like really bad, that they because she was living with my uncle at the time, my other uncle, her older brother, and they couldn't afford to get her medication, but they went to a doctor anyway, and he was like, "Oh, diagnosed as she has measles. You need to get her this from the pharmacy and stuff like that." And they couldn't afford it, so instead, my uncle was like, "Let's go to Uncle, I think it's Uncle Chuy. Let's go to him, and let's ask him to heal you." And she's like, "No, no, no, he's weird," like. Her as a little kid, he's weird, he's scary or whatever. And so he would go, and he brought her in this little his little sacred space, and that they chanted, and they wrapped her up with like medicines and stuff like that. And for 3 days they chanted over her, and then finally the third day they unwrapped her, and it was completely gone. Everything completely, no scarring, nothing. She's like, "Ari, I couldn't even sit down. That's how bad it was. That I couldn't sit down. That as soon as I would sit down, they would start bursting and bleeding, things like that." And so she said that it was complete, everything was completely gone. And she's like, "That was my first experience with a healer." And my second, he's like, my second experience, because I went back to him when I was a little bit older. I guess he was doing a group healing session with like all of the adults and the some ladies or whatever, and he was channeling, and his voice changed. And she said, "I thought he was just being fake, like I thought there was a recording somewhere, like he was just like, that wasn't his voice. That was just like some recording, and I was trying to look for it." And she said that, so she went into the circle too, in the healing circle, on purpose, just to try to trick him, right? And that he said that he was like his he had like a veil over his eyes, like just completely, because like it would cover like from here to here. She said she didn't know why, and that he would just cover this, and then he would just start talking in a different voice. And she was just like, "What?" And so that he went through every person there, and then he went like this to her, and he's like, and he said something about, okay, so he did it in Spanish. He's like, "Ah, mira, aquí estás otra vez. Sí, ya te dije que no te vengas." Y like his voice changed right away to his regular voice, and he's like, it's like, "Todo lo que piensas se hace, se pudre," or whatever, like saying that everything you step on rots or whatever. So he was pissed at her. So,
did he curse her?
Yeah, he was pissed at her.
Oh,
he like talked shit to her because she ruined the session, because he was in he was in a trance. He was channeling for the healing, and he went to her, and he's like, "Oh," like right away. That she was just cracking up the whole time.
Oh, real in front of his face. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yo, I love it.
Dude, so that's what she was like. She's like, "That's the second experience," or whatever. And I'm like, "Mom, what the hell?" And there you are talking shit to me as a little girl, because I'm telling you I see these things, and you're like, "Oh, you're just making it up," or whatever, because she was like afraid. I'm like, "Oh, there was this man, he woke me up in the middle of the night, and he was talking about something below the house that we need to dig up." And so apparently I freaked her out, because in her room where we live, there's actually a safe underneath the bed in the floorboards. And that's where I guess the previous owner kept a lot of stuff, and they never could open it because they didn't have the key or anything like that. And so that's what I told her. He told me you need to open it up.
Oh my god.
But it was the previous owner was still alive. It was just a gentleman that was, I guess, related. And so she goes and she finally gets like a locksmith to open it. And so they open it and they had like these documents. And so she calls the previous owner and she's like, hey, I have all these documents from your safe. And he's like, oh my God, I need them. You know, like it was like really important stuff for him. And so he finally, like, he got him back and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like I told her all these things, you know, and she would freak out every time and tell me like I was like making it up. And I'm just like, okay.
Oh my God, that's so amazing.
Yeah, like it's just, that's how it was when I was a kid. The only ones that would believe me were my great aunt who lived with us and taught me how to sage and clean, you know, limpias and do all this stuff. She was the only one that believed me, and so she relayed the message to my mom because she was like, because I told her, I'm like, he keeps bothering me, you know, like he keeps coming back every night, you know, like, you know, hello, get it done, you know, and so she's like,
damn,
oh, your mom, you know.
Were you having a dreams of this, or was this
No,
like
he was just standing there staring at me while I slept.
Oh
And
shit!
so I would feel, I'm like, the hell do you want? My sister would hear him. She has auditory sense. Like she can hear people speak. Yeah.
Wow, Claire.
She freaks out though. Like she's not totally like, you know what I mean? She's not totally like accepting of this gift.
Plus, the Claire audience be hitting you out of nowhere too. Like, whoa,
yeah.
holy shit!
Like, excuse me.
Right when you're focused on doing something too, to catch you off guard. Like, whoa.
Yeah. I remember a couple of times because so we moved from that house because we lived right next to a cemetery. So there's a lot of people just coming, you know what I mean? Like nonstop. And then one time before we moved, she had her clairvoyance activate and it stopped completely after that because she freaked the fuck out.
Oh yeah. She was like, no.
So she was going to she went to the kitchen.
Holy shit.
She likes to turn on all the lights, you know, because she's afraid of the dark. You know, I'm not. I'm like, whatever.
She don't play that shit.
Yeah,
I respect it. I respect it.
Turn on all the lights and she'll go to the kitchen and then make herself like something for like a cereal or whatever. And then she said that she felt somebody was staring at her, and she was like, I don't want to look. Like, cause she already knew, like, oh my God, if I look, it's gonna be something. And so she's like, I don't want to look. And she said she went like this, and sure enough, it was somebody like kind of like something, she said, because it had like these weird looking teeth and hair like this, crazy looking.
She didn't see the hollow. Oh my God.
Like very thin, you know, and
or a cursed spirit.
It was a an elemental. Or whatever, and so she's saying that he just had this big smile on his face, and she's just like staring at him, and she's like, ah! She freaked out and she took off running.
No, fuck that shit. The spirit guy, motherfucker's fucked up.
Goes and she tells me, go over there and tell him to leave, you know, and I'm like, what? So I go and I'm just like, I keep the lights off for one, because I'm just like, and in my head as a little kid, if they can't see me in the dark, that means I can't see them, right? You know, but of course I could see them. But I'm like walking in the dark, back to the kitchen, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I still see it. I'm like, you need to leave. And it's just like starts kind of giggling and takes off, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like I like knocked on my great aunt's door, and I'm like, hey, and I told her about it, and she's like, oh, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them.
Oh.
Like she was like, they're tricksters, don't talk to them. And I'm like, okay, because she said, I told, like, my sister described it to her, like the feeling that she got, that she felt like she was being compelled to turn around and to look at him and to walk outside. And so she, after that, her freaking third eye was like, I'm done, you know. And so yeah, because she freaked out. And so my great aunt was like, no, don't talk to them, don't even acknowledge them, these guys are tricksters, and so leave them alone. And so I was like, okay, well, I just told it to leave, and he just laughed and left. And she's like, okay, that's good.
already about the fire. Like, oh, okay, she's not messing around.
Yeah, and so it's like that was how it was. And even when we moved into another house, you know, the same thing, like patterns like that would happen, and my sister would hear it, and then she'll be like, "What's around us?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just this." You know, I'll describe it, and then she's like, "Oh my god," like, you know. So, like, I remember one time she said that there was this man talking to her, asking her all these questions, and she freaked out, and she's just like, "Bye," you know, like, and she ran because like we had separate rooms, and she ran and she like pounded down my door. She's like, "Come sleep with me in my room." And I'm like, "Why? If that's where it happened."
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yo,
so it's like, okay, fine, I'll go. You know, like,
did you have to do that a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot. And so I had to like take breaks from people because of it too. Because I was just like, you guys attract all these things, open all these portals. You know, you don't even know.
Yeah. It's like women already get harassed by physical men. Now you're getting harassed by ghosts.
Haunted by spirits, you know?
What's your number?
No, but it was all like really what it was is really teaching me how to like really establish boundaries too, you know, and not just run away. You know what I mean? Like with especially with people, like straight out tell them, "Hey, right now I don't have time for you."
It almost looked like to the left of you, like there was I just saw it faintly.
Yeah, the shimmering. Yeah,
yeah.
I call it the shimmering. It's the galactics.
Okay, they are there. It's almost like a very thin veil. Oh
yeah,
shit!
Like and then it shimmers like little stars, like little.
I accidentally saw it too. I almost didn't see it. I thought the camera showed.
They're everywhere. Yeah. And then if you see a little floating thing, like it's like a little orb, tiny orb that goes in and out and like around. Those are the fairies that I work with. So. And you will see them like on the screen. They pop out like just to say hi, like hey, you know, like if you see my videos, like you'll like holy shit, you know. But yeah, they always show up somehow. But yeah, that's how I perceive energy. If you guys do see it like that, that's how I perceive energy, especially subtle energy such as before I'm shown you know, a form. I perceive energy like that, and I'll as well as through geometric shapes. Like if before I'm shown a form, I will see that shimmering, and then like maybe a geometric shape here and there, and then all of a sudden a form appears, and I'm just like, okay, that's who you are. That's how you look like. But yeah, and it's like because of their clairvoyance, it activates in different ways, depending on how I like what if I'm concentrating or not, you know. But yeah. Oh, hi. See, blue flame. Yeah, you do see orbs too. It's like this. It's you feel it before you see it type of thing, you know?
Right. Okay.
Like that's how it is usually with healers, especially like you'll sense a shift, and then all of a sudden, boom, you see it. Or with the like clairaudient ones, like my sister, she'll sense a shift and then she'll hear, "Hey, hey, what's up?" No, just kidding. But yeah, so you know what I mean.
I always get to the first part where like I will hear my name visibly. And then I'm always like, okay, what do I do next? Like, do I answer like hello? And then I never get past there. But I don't meditate. Maybe that's like I will hear like every now and then, whatever the focus state, like I will hear my name and like, holy shit, it worked. What do we do now? Is this mic on? And it's like, I don't know. I never get past that part.
Hey, I'm Michael. Hey.
And they're like, oh, never mind. Like, is that what they? I don't know. But
no, that's like I think it was who was it? I worked with someone who was clairaudient too. Like she would get like straight out like her name being told, like when she's walking down the hallway somewhere at work, like because she was a nurse. And then all of a sudden she's like, and they'll be like nurse and her last name or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit. She's like, it was freaky. Because she would work night shift. And so she thought it was a resident where she worked or whatever. Like, oh, she's gonna go check on the resident, so she'll go into the resident's room and they'll like dead asleep, you know. And she's like, okay, that was in the resident, all right.
I remember when I told my mom that before. The first time she was like, come with me, and then we kneeled down and we prayed, and like she did a whole exorcism, and them voices stopped. Like I didn't hear them shits at all anymore. She was not playing at all.
She's like, let's stop this shit right now.
Right. Don't respond to those voices. She sprayed all sorts of Holy Ghost fire over me.
It just depends, you know, like it depends on what they want, you know what I mean? Like that's why I always tell people, it's like, if you're afraid, then just disconnect, right? Like do what you need to do to disconnect, to cleanse your energy and stuff like that. Right. But if you're like me, you just love to know what the fuck's going on, then you can ask questions, okay? Right. Because that's how I am. I'm like, I'm curious. I'm just like, so what do you want? No, I can't do that for you. Sorry. Bye. You know?
Oh my God.
That's exactly like when I had to do boundaries, especially in England. I don't know who lives in England right now, but I think it's one of the most intense, energetically speaking, places to live. Because in England, it was like nonstop. Like it was like worse than when I was a kid. Like I felt like I was a kid again when I was in England. I felt like, oh my God, they won't stop. Wow. And they kept messing with my electricity. Like when I met Zach, I was so freaked out. I like hanging out with you, but I don't like your house. Because flashing, the bulb will be flashing randomly, and like it was like the hallway light or whatever. And then I had a dog, a golden retriever named Alfie, and he will freak out. Like he'll like, you know, like.
Oh my God.
The hallway freaking out, you know, or looking outside and freaking out. And I'm like, all right, calm down, dude. Like, calm down. And so my, you know, Zach will be like, some freaky shit in here. But yeah, it was like nonstop, like poltergeist stuff. Like not really crazy though. Like they would hide things from me. Like I remember I used to use pendulums, right? And then they'll hide them from me. And I'm like, dude, I swear, like I'm Virgo, okay? Virgo rising. Everything is orderly. I know where everything is at. Everything has a label, you know? This is where I place these. Everything's color coordinated. You know what I mean? And so so I was like, there's no way I lost.
Fairies trolling you.
Who is it?
The fairies are trolling you.
Oh yeah, they are. They're showing up. Yeah, because they're the ones. They're laughing because they're the ones that did that.
They're the ones that are taking it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they would take them and hide them. Yeah. And I'm just like, what the hell? And so, yeah, especially because they're crystals, right? And so they love crystals. They're like, oh, yeah, taking that away from you, you know? And so I would find them in random places. Like one time I found one of them, like it was like on the... I think it was outside somewhere. And I'm like, I never go outside and do this stuff. You know what I mean? Like with the pendulum. I'm like, what the hell? How is it outside? And so another one, they put it underneath my bed when I was like, and I searched everywhere in that room, even underneath the bed. And then the next day I was like, oh, forget it. You know what? If they want it, they can have it. Right. And then I was like vacuuming and I went underneath my bed and all of a sudden the vacuum's like, you know, like, and I was just like, what the hell? And I see it's a freaking pendulum. Like, what the hell? I looked for this. Yeah, they mess with me.
Have you questioning your sanity straight up?
Yeah, for real. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I get done dirty because I'm way more oblivious, and so like spirit will play tricks on me, but I'm in my head so much I don't even notice. So I'll look for some shit over and over, and then it's in my pocket the whole time, or some shit like that.
Yeah,
but like, or like right next to me. Right, or I was holding it the whole time, like super ADD. Like where is it? Oh, Oh, and not to look like, wow, I'm an idiot. Wow. But it is what it is.
Yep.
You definitely, so that's amazing to see how you've had to deal with vibes, especially as a Pisces moon, which is just very impossible to not feel the vibrations around you. And it's
Colby. Sorry.
called being high. That part. That part.
He got
Wow. Yeah. Yet again. Yet again.
another Pisces there.
Yeah. On that note, it's really awesome to see how you've been able to integrate all of this and practice. And once again, what I really admire about you is not only are you super gifted in this level, but you also uh, are applying and bringing these gifts to the medical field, to the research field. So what has been your educational career like?
So, educationally speaking, it's kind of like this Virgo thing for me. Like, I just love to learn. It's like I love to learn everything about what makes people tick, you know. And so, I've been actually reading forward, like with my academic plan, and there is a section where they actually talk about abnormal psychology, and then another section where they talk about spirituality, or how to counsel people who are spiritual or religious, things with religious backgrounds and things like that. And when I was looking through the curriculum, I was just like, oh shit, we're going to learn about spiritual practices. And that's like the main, I would say the main psychologist that actually put that to the forefront was Carl Jung. And so learning about the archetypes and how to apply it in practice, of course, and research. And then, of course, just it's kind of fascinating that it's shifting that way too, right? Where sometimes some schools won't even hit that curriculum at all, and this school in particular, it's an extended, like instead of 60 hours, it's 90, because it's actually CAC rep, and so it's like a mandated thing, to learn more about different cultural beliefs and spirituality and religious perspectives, and how that actually affects someone when it comes to their belief on mental health, with their own health period, where their wellness, right? How does it affect them? Is in particular, when we're looking at abnormal psychology, when it comes to like schizophrenia, autism, things like that. We're looking at more of like a wellness perspective, meaning that we're incorporating holistic practice here. We're not just incorporating, so like heal to talk to heal, like with other therapies do, right? It's
Right.
more of like, what are you eating? What are you, like how are you, like your emotions, and like, and who are you surrounding yourself with, and what do you believe in? And so I was looking at that, I was like, I'm glad that I got this program, because the other programs that I actually applied to was particular here in Wisconsin. There's a very prestigious university that I got accepted to, but didn't have that in their curriculum. So I'm glad that I chose this university over this prestigious one. And so when I looked at it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, like we're going to figure things out. We're going to do the research. We're going to have, like scientific evidence, things like that for, why people have faith and why they believe the things that they believe,
Ooh, that's
and
awesome.
it's very much leaning towards parapsychology in so many ways, because there's so much going on in that field itself. Like there's so many pioneers in parapsychology, and I'm glad that they're now being recognized and is actually influencing regular psychology's curriculum. So I'm excited about that. Like there's this one book that I read about this guy who is a healer, right? He's a psychologist and he's a parapsychologist too. So he has dual degrees. And he was talking about how he was doing psychic research, right? Like with different mediums, like from different belief systems, and he was trying to really understand how they got the information that they got, right? How their gifts worked. And so he would put like little like things to like record their brains and what would activate in their brain, and like when they would be, you know, in the trance or be doing their mediumship things like that. And so it's really fascinating because I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do, you know, eventually. And then of course, more than anything, teach kids how to, you know, and adults of course, how to access their own you know, healing abilities as well as their psychic gifts. So that's what I'm doing right now as a shaman, is teaching that for adults, of course. And I would like, I think I taught like a few kids too, with their parents, of course, being there and like kind of like doing a little quick mentorship on, especially for empathic children who are highly intuitive and highly gifted with healing. So we did practices on each other. Like I had them do distance healing on me, and then do distance or do in person healing on their parent that was there. And so it's like, dude, right away they caught on. Like they're like, I know how to do this, and I'm like, yeah, you do, you know. And so yeah, right away, it's pretty cool.
And so, what does shamanism mean to you, and how does the Toltec tradition differ from other shamanism traditions?
So with the Toltec tradition, it's coming from Mesoamerica. Okay, so it's coming from the tribes down in Mexico. I would say it extended. The Toltec Empire extended from central Mexico all the way down to, like, I would say, the Mayan Empire right there. And so they taught the Olmec. The Olmec were the very first ones to teach spirituality in that area, and then the Toltecs came and they taught like how to connect to the spirit, as well as to incorporate the spirit with this reality, right? And how to instantaneously heal yourself, how to help others, you know, things like that. And they had more of a universal vision, meaning that they spread this wisdom all over to the different tribes. They didn't care who you were as long as you were willing to learn, you know. And so that's what the Toltec tradition does, is that it spreads its wisdom all over to all of the tribes of humanity. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican or not. Okay, like you can be a Toltec shaman, you know. And it's that's a difference right there, because there's some that don't do that, right? There's some practices, indigenous practices, that won't allow outsiders to understand what they're doing, or ceremonies, unless you're really like a part of their family, you know.
Mhm.
And so that's the difference. It's like, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter what your background is, what you believe even. Like if you're religious, it doesn't matter. You can still practice Toltec shamanism. You know, like we have a like we have high respect for people's belief systems. We don't make fun of them. We don't make them feel like, oh, you're you're Catholic, you know, like, or you're Christian, or you know, or you're Muslim, you know. We don't do that, because first of all, we would never make fun of anybody's belief, because that's their path, you know. And that's the thing that we always emphasize, is like, it doesn't matter where you came from, what you believe, you're still part of the, you know, our family. Okay.
Mhm.
And so that's the biggest thing, you know. Like I had mentorships, and I've had initiations with many people from many backgrounds. You know, it didn't matter where they came from, as long as they were willing to learn. And then the learning tradition is different. We just give you a foundation of practice, and then from there you make it your own. And that's the difference that way too. We're not forcing you to do it the way that we do it, you know.
Mhm.
That's the one thing that I've noticed with different types of healing practices, is that they make you do the things that they want you to do. In Toltec shamanism, we just give you the resources so that you can intuitively do the healing the way you feel is right for you. Okay. And so we don't force you to, like, we don't force you to, like, no, put your hand here. No, put your hand there. Like, like, and so that's the difference too, like we do tell you about plant medicine. This is what this plant is for. We, incorporate the stone people, the crystals, and guides, and how to connect with the guides and stuff like that. And whatever interpretation you receive from a guide, whatever interpretation you receive from a crystal, whatever interpretation you receive from a plant teacher is exactly what you need for you and for your client. So that's what I love about Toltec shamanism, because me, I don't like to be told what to do. Like, and so I don't like telling people what to do either. Like, I've had that in the military, right? I've been there, done it, went through, that phase, and I'm like, okay, I learned what I needed to learn. Now I'm moving on, and so that's what I like. That's the whole, thing about the practice is, let's just give you, here's a little bit of information of how I do things, and here's a little bit of information how I've seen other people do things. Now you either combine them or not at all, and that's perfectly fine. That's what I love about this. Because I did, like, no offense to anybody who does Reiki, I did Reiki, I couldn't stand it. I'm sorry. Like, someone was telling me, you need to do this symbol, you need to do that symbol, and you need to put your hand here, you need to put and I was just like, that doesn't feel right to me.
I thought Reiki was just putting your hands on someone and healing them.
Yeah, like this, like, and then hand, like, you know what I mean? Like, certain hand positions and things like that, and then the symbols. And I could not, like, for the life of me, I could not remember the symbols. I could not remember the hands. So when they had to, like, you had to do a practical or whatever to get, like, attuned or whatnot, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I don't know.
That's never stuck with me too. Like the Choku Ray symbols, like I never really felt they were.
That's somebody else's system. That's why. That's someone else's way of doing it. You know what I mean? Like, some people like it because they connect to that way of doing it. But people like us, I'm sorry, we're free spirits. Like, we do it the way that we intuitively know how to do it. Like
hairstyle, healing breath. Right. I love it. That's awesome. So
yeah. And then even my teachers that were shamans, they were really laid back. Like, I'm telling you, like for example, Daniel, he's the actual, like, Virgo sun, right? So he's just laying in, like, his little shaman robe, clothes and stuff, and he's just like, so today, you guys, we're gonna be working with the tree spirits. And he was just like, so pick a tree. He's like, and just connect, all right, see you guys. Like, deuces.
Oh my god.
And we're just like,
have fun with that.
Okay. Like, there was, of course, we had this lady who was a Capricorn, and she's like, I don't like this. She's like, could I have more information, please? And I was like, Kitty, just do what feels right, like that hippie stuff, you know what I mean? Because she was a hippie too, And I was like, do what feels right, And she's like, okay. So she was just looking around. She's like, okay, like. Like, Daniel, like, I would come back from, like, wandering around, like, looking around and, like, talking to every fucking tree. Me, I like every tree. Like, I want to listen to you. No, I want to listen to you. Me. And then I came back with Daniel. I was like, oh man, there's so many trees, and they all had so much awesome wisdom. And he just starts laughing. He's like, you're one of those, huh?
Yes. Yes.
He's like, I knew it.
Oh my god.
He teases me. all the time. But yeah, so that, yeah, that's how he is. He's like super laid back. Like the only time that he'll do something that's like, okay, this is a ritual, right? This is a ceremony. So that's the only time, right? This is how Toltec shaman ceremonies are. This is when we do them, and this is why we do them. Things like that. But yeah, so that's the only thing that he does that is like to the like instructions, right? But that's because he was taught that way. And then like for the temazcales, which is the sweat lodges that we have, there is people have their own role during those things, right? To build the temazcal, to connect with the mother. Like the women, for example, they have the role of building the temazcal, meaning like digging the hole for the mother, the womb of the mother, and then making it, decorating it with flowers, and gathering the sacred herbs that we use for it. And then the men are the fire bearers, and so they're the ones that tend to the fire. They light the fire and tend to make sure that the fire doesn't gets extinguished or whatever. And so so everybody has their role, right? And I'm over here like do, like building stuff. And then he's like, you come here. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, you need more water in your life, so go get me a bucket of water. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my god.
I gotta go get the buckets of water, right? So I go and get them, and I'm like, and I'm thinking like, I need more water in my life. So I'm like over here thinking, like having like these deep thoughts about water. What does this represent? Like and things like that. I'm like, Pisces moon, okay.
Right.
Emotions. Oh shit, my emotions. you know.
Oh my god.
I'm just like, I need to cry more, like. So yeah, so it was very cool, like all the stuff that he like taught me subtly, things
Right.
like
And I love that about Virgo. They're like in your face subtle.
yeah.
It's like, you either get it or you don't. But
Yeah. Yeah, and then like so we had like a after the initiation ended or whatever, he got me like he did a quick tarot reading for me, and he was just like, so what did you learn? And I told him what I learned. He's like, good. You know what? I knew you were gonna learn a lot. he's like, you're very much like me, very inquisitive, and I like that, And so he's like, what are you gonna do with this though? And I was just like, I'm gonna teach. And he's like, yeah, and that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I teach, you guys.
That's what's up. That's really what's up.
Yep. I love Virgos, you guys. Like you guys are the ultimate shamans. You guys and Scorpios are the ultimate shamans, in my opinion. Like honestly, like every shaman I've ever met, Virgo or a Scorpio. Everyone,
That's deep.
And I'm just like, or they have some type of Scorpio or Virgo placement, and I'm just like, wow, because they dive deep and they can definitely penetrate easily, and like I like that Virgo in particular, because I think a high majority of them are mediums, like naturally, and they're physical healers.
They're
right?
more like herbologists and like
They're physical healers, right? So they know everything about herbs, what plant medicine to use for this ailment, like instinctively, and then and all that stuff. So they love to heal physically, and of course mediumship. And then Scorpio, the same thing. They're mediums, right? Like automatically mediums, and then but they penetrate like deeper, and so they make you question things, so that you could really understand like what you're perceiving, and so that like where's this fear coming from, like ask yourself, and you're like, oh shit, and then you remember like, oh, when I was a kid, like right away, you're like, oh fuck. That's where it came from, but yeah, I always appreciate them the most because I've learned so much from them, like in my wanderings. I would say my wanderings, I learned so much from them because of like especially how to trust what you're seeing, and asking questions, fearlessly, I would say too, because the Scorpio for real, they're just like, I'm not afraid of anything. Like they fear me. Like that's like that's how I see Scorpio. Like I was like those like those monsters in the dark, they fear me.
I appreciate it because the only person in our family that was like into Goosebumps and all the horror stuff was the Scorpio sister in the family, and she had a Sagittarius moon, so like right.
I used to read, what was that, the one that was banned when we were kids? I think it was Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark.
Right.
And I used to look at the artwork and I'm like, ooh, this is so creepy, like, and then read it, I'm like, ooh, I'm scared, But then I'll start laughing. but yeah, I thought it was
awesome. But then I start laughing. I love it. Let's play the 3 questions game. We'll take turn asking each other questions.
Okay.
The rule is you go first. The only
asking rule. You a question.
Yeah, it could be about anything. And we'll go 3 rounds.
So I think this is something that every single lady in the audience wants to know. What's your type?
What's my type?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
Really, Mike? He just runs away, just like a Gemini. Just runs away. All right. So, yes, I went there. I'm gonna type. Nah. Bad bitches is the only thing. You ain't got no life. Nah. Us with the ice and we do this every night.
I ain't got no type. That's it. That's the answer right there.
That's such a Gemini thing, though. Like, in my, like, when I would see my Gemini friends date girls, or even the girls date guys, oh my God, I'm talking about different, like belief systems, different races, like, I love all of it, Like,
at first I thought I had a type. At first I was like, oh, she has to be super intelligent. She has to like make a certain amount of money. And then I realized I really appreciate variety because it's like, there's what I like. And then I realized, oh snap, like the universe can just switch it up and then bring someone that has the qualities you don't like in someone and then realize why you like it. Now, it's weird. So that taught me to just be open and not think I know what I want, but to kind of like just accept. But I still have preferences, right? But I realized like I won't even buy a new car because I realize I just want to rent different cars just for variety.
Oh, okay. So just temporarily.
Right.
That's my dad right there. He does that. Like he'll be like, and I'm like, it's because he was a drug dealer,
Turo's my new favorite app now.
Just kidding. Right. No,
but
he wasn't a drug dealer.
I will say personally,
people who were so.
He wasn't a drug dealer, but he was a dealer, right?
But he was. Let's put it this way: my family is that side of the family. I don't talk to them for a reason, okay? Like, like I don't know. Like I talk to my dad because he tells me he's not involved. He's too old. Sun
in Pisces. That was the most sun in Pisces.
Yeah. Wow. No, honey, I don't do that anymore.
That was the best description of sun in Pisces I've ever seen in a long time.
For real. Like, okay, so we saw, like, I went to visit him in Tijuana, and I made sure he went to Tijuana and not making us go all the way to Sinaloa, because I was like, I'm gonna go over there with that side of the family, and then I don't come back, And so I was like, Dad.
That went over a lot of people's heads right now. That's deep.
Yeah. So my sister was like, Dad, meet us in Tijuana. And like with my little brother, right? He's a Pisces sun, by the way, and he's a Libra rising. So he got all kinds of girls. Oh my God. You would see his Facebook and you'd be like, man, he's a pimp. So anyway, so they go to Tijuana and they start watching this TV series in Spanish for it's called El Chapo. And then my cousin, my little brother starts talking about like, oh, remember, oh, I remember that. Remember when he did this and this and this and that. And then my dad starts cracking up. He's like, yeah, but they're not gonna show that. And I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck? And so me being inquisitive, like, oh, so dad, so you still running around there? And he's like, no, mija, no, I'm too old for that. I can't go to the sierras like these young guys. No way, no way. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, he lying, you know, and I'm like, and you're making him go? And he's like, no, I didn't make him go. He wanted to go one time only, and that's it. He hasn't gone back. And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, yeah. So
Right.
yeah, so and it's funny because he's talking about his like glory days, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. The back of my head is like, oh my God, you know, this fool. And so then like then he talks about like the mountain lions out there too. He's like, oh, you better be careful. You better have you better have guns on you because there's mountain lions that eat men out there, you know. And I'm like, and I was like, of course he has guns, you know.
Aries rising. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we just went to look at your uncle's land over there, his property or whatever. And I'm like, his property, right? And he's like, yo, and then we were staying in this house, right? And he's like, and we could hear like it sounded like a woman crying, and we knew it was a mountain lion. We knew it. And so he said that it was trying to dig under the door, and you could see the big ass paw or whatever trying to like open it because it was hungry. so he said that he said that one of the guys that he was with outside, and they like shot up in the air, and then the lion like took off or whatever. And I'm like, the story, there's stuff missing in this story, but I know what the fuck you were doing over there.
Oh my God. And that would have gone over my head. Like, I don't have the Virgo energy to be like,
yeah, no way. And I was just like, yeah, so you went to go check on my uncle's property. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yep. So yeah, so I was just like, yeah, whatever, Dad. So no. And he like always asks me too, like, yeah, that's true. You are right. That's exactly what he said too. But yeah, so like what is it? So he was like asking me like the other day, hey, when are you gonna come up to see Sinaloa? And I'm like, I don't want to go there. Like, I don't feel safe. Like, I don't think so. And he's like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. It's just your cousins and your uncles, And I'm like, I haven't seen them since I was a little kid, so no thank you. Like, no way. So yeah, that side of the family, I'm like, mm-mm. And then my mom's side of the family is like all the brujas and the curanderas and all the healers, like
that's so amazing.
Wow. And of course they attract, right? Like it's like, I swear, like this is like the most common theme in Mexico: the evil doer attracting the goody two shoes. You know what I mean? Like,
or specifically like the bruja and the gangster.
Yeah, it's like a very common thing. Like, I was just like, you guys just.
When I got initiated in Palo Mayombe, a lot of people who normally would get readings or initiated were like gangsters because they need, or people who did like drug dealing because they needed protection from the dark energies. And like,
oh yeah,
Santeria is more light energy, but Palo is more like the dark shit. Like,
so, like, well, one of my cousins, and I the only reason why I fucking saw this was because I was snooping around my brother's Facebook a while back, because I was like laughing at because he's a meme one too. Like, he posts a lot of memes, they're like in Spanish, so they're really hilarious. And so I was just like, like cracking up, like, gosh, it's funny. And so then I saw one of my cousins write something underneath one of the memes, and then I saw his like picture, and I was like, the Santa Muerte, and I'm like, of course, like. So the Santa Muerte is like it's like a new energy that they're working with. I guess the cartel like prays to this deity.
Oh.
Um, and so there's a lot of like beliefs that she's possibly one of the old Aztec gods, like the one from the wife of Mictlantecutli, which is the underworld, the god of the underworld, and so they use the image, and they pray to her for protection, so that they won't get shot, or murdered, like when they're doing their deals. And then also from the cops, like, oh, so the cops will stop them, and things like that. And so that's like, I saw that and I was like, ooh, okay, like you guys, come on. And so I was just like, I told my brother, I was like, you hang out with him? And he's like, no, he lives in Durango. And I'm like, so do you see him? And he's like, no, I don't see him because he's running around over there. And I'm like, okay. I make sure my brother is like, no, you can't do it. Like, no, you can't.
That's wild.
It's funny, he has like this girlfriend who's a Libra, right? And nonstop, she was blowing up his phone the whole time. And then he shows me her messages, and I'm like, dude, she crazy. And like, she's like, I was like, he made her crazy. He made her crazy because Libras are not normally like crazy possessive and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, he made her crazy.
And he has the moon, right? So they have that sun moon conjunction.
Yeah. And so he was like, he would like not answer, right? And he's like, oh, I'm just spending time with you guys. What the hell, And I was like, did you let her know that you were coming here? Like, did you let her know that you're spending time with your sisters and your dad? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, where and when? And he's like, look, I told her. And I'm like, okay. And so she's like blowing him up, and she's like, I know you were somebody else right now. I know you were somebody else. Like, or whatever. And I'm like,
oh my God.
I was like, and I asked him, I was like, have you cheated on her? Is that why she's so paranoid? And he's like, no. And I'm like, and I told him, I was like, have you liked or commented on other girls' pictures that are good looking? And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I like things. I don't comment anything. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. In my head, I'm like trying to figure out like what is he doing to make her crazy? And so so what I figured out is that he ignores her. That's why. He ignores her. Or he leaves her on read. And I'm like, you asshole. Like, what a dick. And I'm like,
But is she typing like a million things at once?
Yes.
Okay, but still he's dating her, so
yeah. And I told him, I was like, you can't be doing that. Like, have the courtesy to say like, hey, right now I'm busy and I'll get to you later. Like, I'll talk to you later. Okay. And he's like, but she knows I'm busy. I already told her once. Like, he has that mentality. I was like, I only gotta tell you once.
Right. I feel you. I feel him. Oh my God. I specifically like that sun moon combo because it's 10th house to me. So I kind of look up to it. It's really dope.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, as a medium, what do you feel would be like a revolutionary piece of technology that every medium can have to help them be a better medium?
Oh, so like how to access. So what I teach in my course is quick, intuitive like lessons. Like, if I have 3 cards, right? I'll choose like number cards, right? And I'll just be like, okay, I have 3 cards right here. Look at the cards, and then I'll show them like the number, okay, remember these numbers. Remember these numbers. And then I'll just be like, okay, I have a card in my hand. Tell me which card it is. And then I'll get like them like messaging me and like, or telling me, oh, I see this in my mind's eye or whatever, or I see the number this, right away, or I heard it, or things like that. And then I just pull the card and reveal it, and they're like, oh, like they all freak out because they're like, oh my god, like because they got it right. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. And also crystals, right? So I do it with crystals, different crystals, so they can learn the frequency of a crystal, like how it feels, like the difference, right? Even distance, right? And so like I'll just be like, okay, what crystal am I holding right now? And then like it feels like a labradorite, it feels like this, and they describe the intensity of it, or they describe how it makes them feel, what it activates in their chakra system, things like that. And so that's how they pick up on it, right? And so yeah, boom, labradorite or whatever. So yeah, that's what I do. So if you keep practicing like that, it'll help you if daily. Even I always tell them, use your tarot, use your cards daily, because it'll start, like what it is like it's a muscle. Okay, that's what it is.
Those neural pathways.
You have to open these up, you have to
Right.
build them up, and you have to trust, more than anything is trust what you're receiving, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
I always tell them there's so many tools out there that you can use, but use them daily. Use them daily so that you can build up to it, and then you won't need them anymore. These you won't need them anymore, and that's what it is. It's like it is just a practice of intuition, and even with the phone, like, oh, guess who's calling you, right? Or guess who texted you, things like that. And then with the other stuff that happens is like mushrooms are great technology. I'm like, I tried them when I was a teenager. Of course I wasn't ready, you know what I mean? Like, and so it didn't really work. Like like everyone else that tried them with me was like, oh, I see all this color, like it was like super bright for them. They described it as being really bright. And I'm just like, I think I'm broken. Like I don't see anything.
You're one of those.
Yeah, you're one of those difficult ones, huh? But yeah, it made them like, oh, like we went to the beach and everything, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And they're like, oh, colors are so beautiful. Like, like it's like everything's super highlighted and stuff, and I'm like, hey.
That's wild.
But another thing that I did get initiated into is the peyote, like being one of the guardians of the peyote, or peyote plant. And so this is
I did a sweat
so,
lodge of that once. That was
so
dope.
with that one, a lot of people say that they hallucinate. Like I said, so when I was talking to the teacher, like the shaman, how
Is it like in cactus chunks?
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was talking to her because she, by the way, is the Peyote Church in Arizona. If you guys want to try it, to do a spirit walk there, I highly recommend that you do. So you get left alone 24 hours, right? So anyway, you have to fast for 24 hours too, and then you go to, there's different directions, so it's like the medicine wheel. And so there's different little makeshift tents that you could go into, or you could actually go into one of the peyote growing houses, and do your spirit walk there. But you choose a direction based on your intuition and based on what you need, elementally speaking, right? And so I chose the eastern door because that was the access to my create one of the creator gods in Aztec mythology, was this Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. And I was like, oh, I want to work with him because I feel like I should, work with him, because I've been working with Tezcatlipoca, this black smoking mirror, forever, who is the one that I was talking to you about number 2, with the, like, how the Lord of Karma, or change through struggle or whatever. So I've been working with him for like ever, and so I was like, I should work with this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I should work with Quetzalcoatl, because he'll teach me more about like how to be more air signy, right? Like channeling, and stuff like that, and more like clear cognitive stuff and
Right.
and so I went over there, and a bunch of fucking cows. I don't know where the fuck they came from, but they were like, "Hey, what's up?" So I was there. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm just trying to chill, you know? Like, and you're like, boo, you know? They get me closer and closer to where I was. I was like, oh my god, come on. And so I didn't hallucinate or anything like that. Like the other guy that was there, he did. Like he described like what he saw or whatever. I only felt physical healing. Like I felt
Body
someone,
high.
huh?
Like a body high.
Well, it wasn't. It was actually hands on me. Like
Right.
like someone pushing into my like going like I felt like a penetration into the solar plexus as well as into the sacral, and pulling them like upwards all the way up and out of my crown. Like I felt this like I felt like it cracked. Like and I usually feel a crack when I'm like receiving downloads, but it felt from the inside out instead of from the outside in. So because when I receive information, I usually feel like a crack from the outside in. And so it's like, you know, and I was like, ow! So he was more gentle after that.
Right.
And so then I felt like pulling on the bottoms of my feet and digging deep into the earth. Like I felt like I was being like if I don't know if you've ever felt like really like exhausted and tired and you just felt boom like you're heavy. That's how I felt. Like he grounded me completely and he connected me completely, you know, and I was like, holy shit. But I didn't hallucinate. I didn't see anything crazy. I just felt I heard the cows moo moo like I was just like, okay.
Oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah. So I told the guy, I was like, did you see any cows around you? He's like, yeah, man, that freaked me out. He was like freaking out, like, oh my god. He thought he was hallucinating the cows too. He was like, oh. I was like, okay. So I wasn't the only one.
It's like having the same dream as somebody. It's wild.
Yeah. No, but they were real cows because they actually were like walking around and like sniffing my like stuff, and I'm like, hey, get out of here! I was like, I don't have any candy for you. Like, get out. I was like, I'm hungry too. I've been fasting. I'm hungry. But yeah, so I recommend it, you guys, if you guys want to donate to the Peyote Church in Arizona. I highly recommend that you do. And then do your spirit walk, okay? And it's again by yourself. All right, no one's gonna dare.
That's called the Vision Quest, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But
I haven't done that yet.
So it's a spirit walk, but you don't really walk. You're walking with spirit, like projection wise, you know.
Oh, okay.
So you just take so they do a liquefied peyote drink. Like they just liquefy it instead of you like eating it up, because it's so gross when you eat it. Like, but even
they tasted gummy and chewy. But we were in a sweat lodge, so I was so like trying to focus on breathing. Like I didn't have time to notice the taste.
And like, so she was like, make sure you sip it because you're gonna get that gag reflex because it tastes so gross. And you make sure you sip it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking like, yeah, whatever. I could come on. I could eat freaking ghost chilies. Come on, you know. And I'm just like chug, and I'm like, okay, I feel sick. Like, big mistake. No, and then so I go back because I had to go pee. Of course, I had to go pee, and I'm like, I'm not doing it in front of these fucking cows, you know. And so I ran, like I was like, I'm gonna run all the way to the house because it was pretty far, and then I'm gonna pee, and then I'm gonna come back. So I ran to the house, you know, running to the house, and then I'm like, okay, pee, and then I look in the mirror and like my eyes are like completely like dilated, and I'm like, ooh, that's freaky. I was just like, ew. Like, look like a fucking like one of those black-eyed children. I was like, fuck. And then I ran back out, and they're still there, the cows. I was like, hey, thanks for watching my stuff. Yeah, still mooing at me.
Oh my god, beautiful. Well, I think we're on round 2 of questioning.
Okay, so your turn.
Oh, okay, okay. We just switching the order. Okay, so
Oh, did you already ask me a question?
yeah,
Oh, that was a question?
the medium.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, all right. All right, my turn then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So kind of like I want to know a little bit of history, right? I don't want to ask that question because then it's gonna start drama. Okay, so
No, ask it, ask it. You know, I love the hot seat questions. I don't mind. But if you don't want to ask it, you have to ask it.
Okay, when did you realize, and just saying because I know the answer, that you didn't belong in High Vibe?
Oh, damn, it's really weird because, I feel like the movie Clueless because like at every opportunity, um, the universe was outright saying, "All right, it's time to go," and I was like, "No." And I just like I didn't really have any incentive to leave. So I would say like numerous times during 2018, 2019, and 2020, I just didn't I don't know. I felt like and it would come through, of course, like um mad readings. Almost like every other reading I would have. It's like,
Remember when I told
yeah, oh yeah. And I would love because like you wouldn't really outright just like make a decision for me, but you always let me know like even outside of just High Vibe, just like walking my own path and like doing what I have to do, but
yeah.
yeah, and that's not necessarily to talk down on the network as far as just once again just establishing my own presence and like so yeah, I was just being the Taurus rising that just like stays until I get branded or like something happens and it's just like whatever. In fact, I never quit. Like I got terminated. So like I was still gonna be there. Right. I never planned to leave. I wanted to cross and all that. So it is what it is. But I'm grateful for that because that as a context will help me recognize red flags the first time and just like the signs, right? You just not really
when it's like and it's funny because like when I was thinking about it, I'm like, he shouldn't even be here yet, like anymore, like when I was giving you readings and stuff, like back when I met you, I'm like, he needs to go somewhere else. like it's not to say anything bad about High Vibe at all, but I just felt you had a bigger mission, right? And I felt it. I was like, this is just temporary, he just needs to learn what he needs to learn and then he's gonna move on. And then but it just felt like, okay, your potential, especially the way that you express yourself, I felt like there was a little bit of holdback just to make sure that you didn't step on toes too.
Exactly.
And I totally understand that. Because you were being respectful, and that's what I appreciate, Sabaja. And so that's why I was just like, yeah, but he needs to get out of there because there is a greater mission coming up for him, where he's going to have this whole revolutionary thing, this whole different perspective on spirituality, where he's going to gather all kinds of differing perspectives and somehow unite them, right? And so when you talk to me about, what you're setting up for a clear set, I was like, oh, fuck, there it is.
There it is. There it is. Which, by the way, once again, like 2015, 2015, yeah, I had incorporated mystic illuminations. So that was the initial launch of that. Like before Future Life even existed, I had a team of people doing readings. We did webinars. Lauren actually ran that. She was my manager, the Capricorn lady I was working with. So yeah, it was pretty cool for as long as it lasted. I dissolved it to go back to school just so I could finish my degree. And so right, yeah. And it was great to come back strong, which is super awesome. And yeah, I mean, quite the experience. The one thing I really appreciate is it definitely helped me meet the right people through that. and for people to, not once again, not necessarily, it wasn't, I didn't see that as like so many people knew about me, because there's a lot of people who joined their network because of me. So we kind of had concurrent followers, but it was more so the people I met through events like you, like Jax, like Alicia. Yeah. So, that's definitely really awesome.
That was great. I was super happy that I met you. And then, I met Jax, before I met you, and he was talking about like, oh, I'm interviewing for, like, he told me, he's like, oh, I'm interviewing for Future Life. Let me see if I get it. And then like a month later, oh, I got into Future Life, and I'm like, oh, congrats, and and it's funny because I didn't really know too much about the Leo King, right? Like I didn't follow him I don't really follow people on social media.
Right.
Only the people that I really know and I know to be really spectacular mediums and healers and things like that. And astrology wasn't really a thing for me. And then Jackson started getting into astrology, and I was just like, he's like super good at teaching it, you guys. It's like freaking astrology 101 for dummies, He is so good at teaching it. I even got it, So
like he's the universe or something.
Yeah, and you too, And so I'm just like, oh shit. So when he was like, oh, there's a opportunity that we could go and meet up with the Leo King and do this. I think it was supposed to be an actual festival first, right? And it got canceled, right? And then I got to know Craig because he interviewed me, and I got to know him, and I was like, man, Craig, I love Craig. He's one of the most genuine persons that I've ever met, and so I got to meet him, and then me and Jax, we're like, okay, so like we're gonna go to the Leo King Studios because David was like, oh, just come over here, even though that thing was canceled, we could still do something here. And then that's when you were there, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Who wants a reading?
And then later we did the Viridian Summit together.
Oh yeah,
that was dope.
Was fun.
Wish we got paid for that, but other than that, it is what it is.
I got paid in steaks, so I don't know what you got paid at, but I got paid. No, it was good. I liked it. And I like that we got to meet other people, especially like Abby, and like all these people that are.
Shout out to Abby, she's awesome.
Yeah, who are behind the scenes, I'll really see them. And so it's just like, wow, there's a lot of genuinely beautiful people that work at High Vibe. I really do, I really do love everybody. And that's like my Pisces moon too, because I'm just like, I just love everybody. I just want everybody to get along.
That's wild. Well, my second question to you is, what are 3 things you really internalized, grasped, and are grateful you learned about the military?
Oh shit. Okay, so I already had a spectacular knowledge of the dark side, right? Like, because of my dad's side of the family, and being around, those spooky people. And so in the military, it's more of like seeing the extent to how that extends outward, and seeing the Archangel Michael people, okay, where they understand the darkness, okay, and they understand how to work with it and manipulate them to do the things that they want them to do, right? So that judo mind trick stuff, right? Like the freaking like the Jedi one, right? The Jedi mind trick is like, there's actually a judo something type judo something in the military. That's what we talk about. So anyway, we get taught how to negotiate and how to psychologically manipulate people. And so so that's the one thing that I learned. It's how they are able to, even though they have an understanding that this person wants to kill me, right? They still be like, hey, be kind, like they still to get what they want, right? And so I was just like, that's that fucking Archangel Michael thing, like, hey, come here, let's talk real quick. Okay, let's go over here now. Like that's what he does. Like he's like, hey, I'm gonna be friendly Archangel Michael, but wham, you're done, like. And so that's what I learned. And I learned like there's so much so many people who are highly intuitive in the military too. it's they call it instincts, right? But they already knew, like, before something would happen, it's gonna happen, and it happened, right? And
Mm.
so I got protected a lot. I think that's one of the things that I've been super grateful my entire life, where I was protected all this time. Like, even with the shit that my dad and his relatives were doing, I was protected from that. I knew instinctively, intuitively, there's something wrong with them, right? They're doing something fucked up, but I was protected, right? And so when I went into the military, even when it came to deployments, we would get there in between things, right? Like, we arrived in Afghanistan about a week after a crazy attack happened with the German forces out there and the
Mm.
Afghanis, and so we got there and there was a funeral, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's a funeral? Like, what's going on? And so there's like all these people or whatever, and it's like it's all in German. Like, I don't know what they're saying, but okay, it's a funeral. And then we were there for a few months, and then all of a sudden, like, I got this. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, now, now. And so an incident happened where I was supposed to go somewhere to another base, and I didn't go because I think it was my day off, and they didn't want to wake me up because I used to work night shift. They didn't want to wake me up to bother me and on my day off to go. And so I was like, okay, no big deal. I hear, and we get intel that they got attacked, and we're like, oh fuck, another thing protected. And so I was like, fuck, that sucks. And then another thing, another like ping ping ping, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And we were getting delayed, like, on our way out, like aircraft delayed, like couldn't land because there was shit happening, right? And I was just like, fuck, dude, we're gonna be fucked. We're sitting ducks here, right? And I'm like, fuck. And so finally I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna pray, because I don't pray. Like, in that, I don't pray, but like, I was like, I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna just bring the aircraft now, clear everything and bring it now. I don't feel good about this if we're staying here for longer. And so, yeah, it landed real quick, and we had to run. We had to run towards it. We're like, oh fuck, and like, we're like, get in, get in, get in, get in, and then we're like getting in, getting all our stuff in and stuff like that, and we're like, okay, we're gonna go. And we took off, and then we hear like a month later that they got fucking obliterated, like the Germans did, like they attacked the base, and we're like, holy shit. Yeah, they got overran.
You were supporting the German forces.
Yeah, we were supporting
Okay.
NATO.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we were supporting
Yeah.
them, and
NATO. Okay, they were attached to NATO. Okay.
they're complacent, dude. Like, if I'm sorry to say this, but the Germans they're complacent. Like, they're so fucking relaxed. They were drinking. Like, we're not allowed to drink, right? Like, that's one of our things is like, no, you can't drink while you're deployed, and you can't have sex, and you can't do anything crazy like that, right? And
Oh,
so,
while you're deployed, right.
yeah, and they had their own like bars, and they would go and drink and on duty and everything, no big deal, right? And I was just like, that's probably what happened. Like, you guys were so complacent that the Afghanis that were actually hired to work on the base were like giving intel to whoever came in and got you guys, and so that's one thing that I learned, is to be very aware of my surroundings and really listen to my intuition when something's wrong. That was like the biggest thing that I learned in the military, is like, really listen, because it's gonna
It's a matter of life and death.
yeah, yeah. So, and then I'm really aware, like, hypersensitive more than anything, when it comes to even driving. Like, I like look at people, like, look at them again. I'm like, you're gonna, like, I'm making sure that I'm predicting that you're not gonna crash into me. Like, I'm gonna slow down, and I'm gonna go this other way.
Driving is a Virgo rising.
Yeah, like every time I drive, I make sure that I'm courteous, for one, and if I see someone that's obviously in a hurry, I get the fuck out of their way, because I'm like, first of all, they're gonna be so dumb, they don't know how to drive tactically, that
Right.
they're gonna end up hitting someone, either me or someone else, and it's gonna cause an accident. and sure enough, you know. So I'm just like go the other way. Yeah, so it's funny because like that's definitely like you're hyper vigilant and hypersensitive as well. So that's exactly what I learned.
Well, we're on the last round of question now.
Yep. It well, it's so bad. It's just hard to say. Germans are complacent. They really are. Like they're not. They got the shit beat out of them World War II, and they haven't been the same. Like I'm serious. I like when we look like when
Sound
we're
effects.
when we were working with the French because we had the French, we had the Germans, we had the people from the Netherlands, the Dutch and stuff, and the British. When we were working with them, the British are like the number one best. I would say like we are like head to head with them, the United States and Brits. They're so fucking good. And then I would say the second one would be the French. Honestly, like I was surprised. I was like, "Oh shit, look at
You said
you!"
I was surprised. Damn.
I was like, "Look at you, you're a hard ass." And I was like talking to my to Zach about it because he worked with them in Djibouti when he went to Africa. He's like, "Oh fuck yeah, they're fucking scary, dude. Like the French are scary." Like he said, even the Djiboutian nationals were like afraid of them. They're like, "Fuck, I'm not talking to you like that." Like, "Yes sir, yes sir." Like this, like they would just bow their head and like, "Yes sir." Like they're fucking afraid of them. And he's like, I felt afraid. Like when some French guy came up to me, I was like, "Yes sir, okay."
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're good. And so is but the Brits, I would say they're the best in my opinion. With
That's
actually
consistent with history too.
the Australians are really good too. Like their special forces are really good too. Like so we had to deal with special forces. They were in a different camp, so they would fuck with us. So we would be like with our Humvees, like making sure nobody goes into the runways because the airplanes had to land real quick and then take off, and they couldn't have any crazy people trying to like stop them. And then so we would be there, and then all of a sudden these fucking assholes from the special forces camps would just ride in their they had dirt bikes and then they had quads. They would just fucking right through the fucking, like they wouldn't even come towards us through the gate. They'll just go around us and they're like, we're gonna go chase them. We're like, ah, what the fuck? And they'll be like, and we're like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, they're mean. I remember one time one of my sergeants, he got so pissed at them, he just arrested one. Like he was like,
Oh
you're
shit.
done. You're fucking done. And then he just handcuffed them. And he was like, the special forces don't wear their rank, right? And so you don't know what their rank is. And so he arrested them and he took them to the tent and started interrogating him. And he's like, so what the fuck, And then he's like, do you fucking know who I am? And he's like, oh, obviously not, because you're not wearing your fucking rank. This is coming from a Libra, by the way. And then he was like, oh yeah, so you're like, he's like, I'm Major blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh, he's an officer. We're like, fuck.
So he was loving every minute of that.
So his commander had a pissing match with my commander, and they were arguing. Like they were in the tent, you could hear them screaming at each other. Oh, and I was just like, just fight. And I was like, fight.
Is your commander the Libra or was the officer a Libra?
No, my sergeant was the Libra. My commander is a colonel. And he's an Aquarius. And so he was like, he didn't give a fuck how many people this motherfucker killed. He was like, you better fucking listen to me, And I was like screaming, fight, fight.
Place your bets now. That's wild.
But yeah, they stopped messing with us that way though, because of our commander. They said, okay, we got respect for him now. Like he's a pilot, by the way. So my commander was a pilot, so they respected him. They're like, okay, he confronted our crazy commander, so now we respect him. So we're gonna comply. We're not gonna do some shitty shit anymore.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it was funny. Me, of course, antagonizing them, but my commander was an Aquarius. I got away with everything with him.
Y'all were like BFF.
Yeah, dude, I really did. Like, I was like, so our I guess our totem animal, right? Because every squadron has one, was a cougar. And so I thought it was the lamest thing ever, right? So I downloaded cougar sounds, and then when he'll always say like cougar standard, right? Something lame like that. And I'm just like, and I would play it. And he'll be like, hey. Like he knew I was mocking him.
Oh my gosh.
I love him. I loved him though. He gave me a good recommendation when I had to leave. He was like, "Oh, I don't want you to leave," because I had to go to Korea. So he gave me a good recommendation. I was like, "Yeah."
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was fun.
That sounds like fun. That's a tough. So we're on the third round of questioning.
Okay, so my question is
hot seat.
This is really personal. Okay, when's the last time you had intimacy?
Damn. With a real person. No, it's a crucial question. That's a good question.
Not Hannah.
Not with my pillow or Hannah. Okay. So it's wild because I immediately thought you meant sex, but you said intimacy.
Yeah.
That's real shit.
Mm-hmm. Meaning like actual like connection physically as well as emotional and
right
and things like that.
Not just like an intellectual talk. Okay.
No, not just that.
Let's see. So 2019 was the last time I had sex, but I didn't get intimate.
Oh, was it with that Capricorn?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yep. 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 I forgot. Yo, Ari, remember when I had to call you in Jax because that crazy Libra woman? You're right. And I had to be like, hey, oh, what was that? And I had to ditch her at the hotel. But no, that's not the cap. That's not the cap. This is different. But
that was a Libra.
That was a Libra, the one that I had to like run away from. Yeah, I'm talking about I'm driving her and she's like punching me and pinching me, and I'm like, oh shit, we about to die. That's crazy. But yeah. I don't think I've ever been intimate. Really.
Like never? Like not even like with someone that you really like fell for?
I've never really been in relationships. Like I never get past that phase where like I never even get to a talking phase. Like I've never really like that's why I just like wow, I kind of blew my mind right now because I thought immediately you meant sex, but sex isn't really intimacy. So no, I don't think I've ever been intimate with anyone ever in my life like that. And not like because I couldn't, because now I'm realizing a lot of that is me just like staying to myself and then kind of pushing people out when that happens or it's about to. So, but I didn't realize that like I've always craved it as a teenager, right? Like and having like the 8th house moon and everything. And then I began to just build retarded crazy walls around that. And then wonder why, it doesn't necessarily, I don't necessarily get intimate. I think at some point I was just like, fuck this. Like, it is what it is.
You told me I'm just not gonna care. Like I'm not gonna look for it. I'm like,
yeah,
exactly when you detach in that way, that's when they come. That's when they come running. It's seriously like because
that's when they started knocking on my door.
Yeah, or that Pisces that knocked. Boy.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Dude, I'm serious.
Oh my god. And
But
yeah, actually I realized that's why I'm still single, because as much as I wanted a relationship, I realized I kind of shy away so much from intimacy. I'd rather just kind of like be alone than like have to do that, even though I crave it, which isn't good. That sounds like being a coward, but like
no.
I don't know. It's just like this extreme aversion. Then again, Pluto is going through my eighth, so there's that too. I mean, it's in the eighth night, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's a really common thing for um not gonna lie, for a lot of mutables. Like I
right.
think the only mutable that I've ever met that actually enjoys the company of other people is Pisces, and it's kind of more of like the company of people that they actually uh understand, and they understand them.
Pisces is so good at disarming people.
Yeah.
And then
So
I realized the short times, I hate to interrupt, but like the very short times I might be intimate, like in random sexual encounters where like maybe we might be kissing or like, you know, talking about what we're going through, I'm in my head half the time. So like I'm not even really present. So like I can't say
that's a common air thing. Like that's
yeah.
what I've noticed with you guys. It's like unless you have a partner that is like super like, oh shit, oh fuck, then you guys are out of your head, right? You're not overthinking it. You're just allowing yourself, to flow with it, and so I think that's a common thing for a lot of people, especially Gemini. They have to have the right partner. They have to have the person that's actually completely meets them on all levels, right? And for air signs, it's not just physical attraction; it is intellectual attraction. That's what will keep them around longer, and that's what I've noticed. So it's like if you don't have intellectual attraction, then an air sign is just like deuces, I'm leaving, So I think that's more than anything like with Aquarius is, for example, like I like only dated two, right? Like my baby's, like dad or whatever, and then my fiance right now. But I've never was looking for them. As more than anything I would attract like every other sign except except the Aquariuses.
Right.
He told me straight out, it's because you intimidate people. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they can't handle your strength and your energy that you push out there. That don't fuck with me energy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. And
Wow.
he's like, I saw it as a challenge.
This dude is awesome.
I
That's so
know.
amazing.
It's that Libra. I
Oh,
swear.
Libra rising. There
Oh
we go.
yeah.
Right. That's what's
It's
up.
that Libra rising. It's like,
That's wild.
ooh, who is this? Ooh, she doesn't like me. Okay, I'll try harder. Because we didn't get along. We didn't get along when we met.
Oh, that's
Like
even better.
we're about to argue.
Oh, that's how you know it's real. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yep. But yeah, so I think that's what it is. It's like you're just waiting, not waiting necessarily, but you're just allowing, yourself to just exist until someone finally, has that magnetism that attracts you, to
Mhm.
them.
Well, I mean, I just need to get out my own way. But I'm sure I know on the flip side, there's just certain people you meet that it's just automatic. Like you don't have to try and open up. You just naturally do.
You just naturally like divulge information to them, and you're just like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I can just talk to you.
Well, my final question for you is if you were in a classroom of 10-year-olds, what's one red pill you would give them?
Oh shit. Question everything.
Yeah, that one's generally good. That one's a really good one.
Yeah. Because I tried as a kid to question things and I was shot down left and right. It's
Mm.
because I said so. You know what I mean? And or like when I got my ass beat when I fucking questioned. What was that? So I was in communion, right? And so they were talking about what was it? I think they were talking about Jesus, something with Jesus, I don't know. And I was just like, raise my hand. If he was the son of God, then how come how come he died? You know me, like I don't get it as a kid. You know, like I don't get it. Like how can he be God and the son of God, but yeah, God let him die. Like I don't get it. And then the nun was like, because he died for our sins, and I'm like, how come we have sins when we're kids? You know,
The real
you
question.
know, and he's just like, that's the sin right there, you know. And I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, they got you
And
like
so
that. Yeah.
questioning or whatever, right? You're an adult or your elders or questioning the gospel, or that's a sin. And so she told my mom, and my mom whooped my ass. Oh my god. But I never stopped questioning it, right?
Mm.
I never stop questioning. Like I always question everything because I want to learn. Like I'm not trying to like make people feel like, oh, I don't believe you. It's more like, okay, then why do you believe that though? Like tell me, why do you believe it? You know, like I really want to know what you're thinking and how you correlate things. You know, how does that apply to your life, and how does that make you feel, and really like what does it bring to your life? You know, what is it, how is it sustaining you? You know, and so that's what I do, because I always question myself too, like is this method working for me? And if I see that I'm constantly failing, then okay, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna try something else. You know, does this work for me? Okay, it works for me. You know, things like that. And so I always question everything,
Mm.
especially myself. Like I always question myself, like, did I really do that? Why did I do that? Like, what am I feeling? You know, like, why did I do that? You know, things like that. Especially because that's Sag Sun, right? And I also have Mercury in Sag, so I always have this, you know. And so I try to make sure that I am aware of how my words affect other people, because they affected me as a kid. You know,
Mm.
other people's words affected me as a kid, and I was
Yeah.
a quiet kid for a very long time because of that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I always do.
Well, our timing is goddamn near miraculous. The moon is literally like 2 minutes away from moon and Sag. So
Mhm.
let's do a special full moon reading before the full moon.
Yay! All
Right.
right. So
You, oh, go ahead.
if you want to draw some cards, or
Yeah, so we can do like a mini reading. So you can give us like the moon and Sagittarius mini reading, and then I'll give the Gemini sun end.
okay, cool. So
Right.
I'm just gonna use the Galactic Heritage deck. You guys can. I highly recommend this deck because it kind of gives you just a little bit of like,
Appreciate you, Luis.
you know, like okay, I'm gonna connect to these galactic guys. That's how I use it. It's just for pure like information.
Cool.
You don't have to really take in what the card says. It's more of like intuitively, what are they saying to you about this, right? So
Right.
I'm gonna do that for the Sag full moon.
Woo. Yeah, throwing down. We throwing down. Wow.
Woo, girl! All right, so the Pleiadians, and it's funny because we still have a little bit of the Pleiadian portal happening right now. Okay, so refining galactic lineage. So if you've been curious about where you're from or where you've been, I think right now would be a good opportunity to really explore this. If you still have reservations, meaning there's still something going on in you internally that is either not truly accepting it or is in fear of learning things from your past as a galactic, then it is time to sit with that, because that Sagittarius full moon is really giving you the opportunity to explore this and transmute the energy through that fire energy, through that blood moon energy. And so it's important for you guys to really connect to your own multi-dimensional self, meaning all aspects of who you are as a creation, where you've been, that any information, especially that you need at this time, okay, that it'll be definitely a good opportunity to do that now. All right. And be like a Sagittarius and be fearless in your exploration, because that is what this moon is going to provide you. Because we are setting the tone with this Sagittarius full moon to really explore aspects of ourselves that we haven't truly understood yet, or that we've wanted to explore, but we didn't really have the energy or opportunity at that time, right? Okay, so I would say start with somebody who is more like you, and the Pleiadians would be more like us, right? They look more human. So I would recommend that for those who haven't connected to galactics before. They're like the first ones I would say to really explore, and then from there move on to whomever else you feel you're connecting to. Okay, there's a huge galaxy that we live in, and there's so many different constellations. There are so many different beings that exist in different dimensions, so it just depends on you. Okay, and so I would definitely do that. And for connecting to the Pleiadians, I highly recommend that you um, work with ancestors first. Okay, because all of us have ancestors, Pleiadian ancestors in particular, because according to the galactic history, we are all created with similar DNA as they were. Okay, they're just a little bit bigger than us. So if you think of galactic like Pleiadians, you would think of the Norse gods, right? Or also the Egyptians that were human looking gods, and the I would say Mesoamerican gods that are human looking. So connect with whomever you connect with, heritage wise or ancestor wise. Okay, so that's what I would recommend. All right, so that's what I have.
Beautiful. All right. So we do have the strength card, which is definitely all about believing in your strength, knowing you're stronger than you can realize. But let's pull a card for what this 2 week cycle is enlightening within you, because it is a 2 week manifestation cycle from full moon to new moon. Um, yep. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you have people lurking. So, Page of Swords is, government spies, strictly someone working for law enforcement. But then we have the Two of Wands, which in some cases could be you looking out at the world, and not at the world, but like the Page of Swords is inquisitively coming into new information and looking at different ideas so that you can come into your vision of the world and what you want to plan and what you want to make happen. But realistically, yo ass is getting spied on. So like you have the government spying you, but this is really more so people looking into you, and whether for information. We got the death card here, so maybe they might find out the hard way. Oh, they're with the smoke, so let's back away. And I knew it. Yeah, there's some shady. I was waiting for this card. Like there's some shady dynamics here, yo. Like some of you might really have like real law enforcement looking into what you're doing. Some law enforcement might think you're doing drugs and be looking into you when they realize, okay, it's not drug money. But yeah, and I don't say this in a sense where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. someone is not who they say they are. And it's not like they're deceiving and lying to you. It's just they're on a secret mission and they can't compromise themselves. So someone is like someone is like actively on a mission, and maybe they're trying to recruit you, or maybe they're just monitoring you. That's very interesting. But the other message I have is with the Hangman. This is a very interesting imagery. We have you this is all you motherfuckers who won't wear masks or get vaccinated, or like people who don't necessarily give in to these false narratives. Nothing wrong with getting vaccinated, by the way, anyone who's been vaccinated, but this is just that archetype right now. That's really the wave, really, in any situation where you may feel outnumbered or whatnot. But the card we get this with, of course, is the Two of Pentacles. So this is quintessentially surrendering to an outdated way of productivity, manifestation. It's the vibe I get is like you're letting go and letting your own instincts naturally take over with this process. And bam. Yeah, a lot of pocket watching. So we got the same card again. You're getting spied on, yo. You're getting spied on. Yeah, we got the same card. So like, I think it's pocket watching too with the Two of Wands. It's like this Gemini season is going to really be, in retrospect, people looking like, wow, this person came up. Like this person came a long way. I saw
Millions.
right. Like, oh snap. Yes, with the deck again. Like someone's watching your pockets, yo. It's kind of crazy. You know what? It just came to me. It just came to me too. Over the next 2 weeks, you're also gonna come up, especially with some craziness. And like some of you may not even realize that shit coin you invested in, or that legit coin you invested in, or stock, or whatever you're doing might kind of just miraculously out of nowhere. Or it doesn't have to be something crazy like that, but you're coming up over the next 2 weeks, and that new moon is just going to be like people looking like, holy shit, people who have the world in their hands too are looking at you like, oh snap, like this person's killing it. Death card, we got that too. So in some cases it's cool. Oh, there we go. And then we got the Ace of Swords, like, I know you see me, motherfucker. Like, okay, so that's cool. But other than that,
Bitcoin.
oh my god! And then the shorthand is poop, POOP. But all right, so I'm gonna pull one more card. Close my eyes. Psych. I don't know what that was. No.
Man, that was a good one.
Oh, no. I've been playing myself. No, we go do it. Bam! Yeah!
Ooh.
Yeah! Thank God it's not the Three of Swords. So yes, we have it. Ooh,
the love.
Oh, there we go. This is a very interesting. But yeah, we got the Emperor, which once again is like authority, power, and stability that is definitely going to establish itself and realistically step you up to higher levels of bossdom. Once again, just like the Hangman, you're in a position where people are looking at you. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like dealing with more attention, whether people are dissing you or whether people are praising you, just let it go. Right, because you're sitting in that power. Even the Hangman is still surrendering and sitting in some kind of like power, oddly enough. But yeah, thank you so much, Ari, for joining us once again.
For having me.
We do have your website in the description box below, and for anyone who'd like to order a consultation, we have the ClearSight links as well. Would you mind sharing a bit of what type of sessions you offer on ClearSight?
So for ClearSight, I offer How many? I offer readings and energy healings. So for the readings, I offer like general readings. Like if you don't really know what to ask, like I'll just tap into your spirit guides and see what they messages they have for you. And then, of course, I have the Galactic Heritage reading, meaning that I really go through past lifetimes, the ones that you particularly need to know of right now to assist you in what's going on, as well as like tell you exactly your galactic lineage, like particularly the ones that you need to connect to assist you with manifesting, connecting with your own intuitive abilities and heightening them, as well as for any type of future projects that you want to do, things like that. They're really good for that. And then I do animal guides as well, where I channel your animal guide, your totem animals, the ones that you need to learn about their medicine and how it applies to your life. And I also do, I think I do the, yeah, I do the art, the digital art for that one, where I draw it out and everything, because that Pisces moon, artist. And so I also do, for the energy healings, I do shamanic energy distance over Zoom. And so you get that recording, like you're there with me, and we're doing this, and then you'll always have that recording to come back to whenever you feel like you need to really use a boost again, for like, or really go through the energy as well and understand it better.
Yeah.
And then I do your star, where I connect to your star while we're on the Zoom session. And we do a meditation to really connect you to the star. So, the star in Toltec shamanism is the first physical incarnation that you had in the material world. Okay, so everybody has a star, everybody is a star in Toltec shamanism. And that star experienced existence when existence became existence, right? And so from the void on out. And so we connect in that way so that we can learn more about ourselves, our wisdom, and what we have to offer the world. Okay. And we also connect to the star whenever we need to heal ourselves too, as well as use the star energy to assist others, okay, to heal and stuff like that. So I do that as a digital thing as well with you over Zoom, and then we go through a meditation, and I lead you to your star. And that's going to be a recording as well that you'll have forever. And then I also do, I think those are the only ones I do for energy healing, I believe. I don't remember what else I do. Oh, healing with your galactic guides. I do that too. So we bring in, one of your galactic guides, like your family, galactic star family, and we ask them to assist you with healing and how to teach you to do healing for yourself too. Okay, so that's what I offer for clear
I
sign.
understand you also have jewelry on your website too. I got some
Oh
really
yeah.
good
So I do a lot of macrame jewelry. Like this little, and this is actually a galactic one. This is the Arcturian star seed bracelet, and it has an actual moldavite bead. And so I do these, and then I do, of course, the triple goddess ones too. I have to update the website, but this is the triple goddess moon. This is actually sterling silver. I only use sterling silver for my work and real gemstones, because I'm very sensitive. My skin is very sensitive, and so I'll break out if I have something else. But yeah, so I do that, and I do also malas as well. If you guys want a mala done, particularly your own personal one with your own personal energy and your guides' energies and stuff like that. And I do. I'm bringing back the soaps, so I do actual natural soaps. Right now, it's just per order. Like if you want one, just ask, and it's really cheap. It's like $45 a loaf. You get like 9 or 10 soaps in that loaf, and then so you choose your essential oils and the butters and the oils that you want for the soap itself. Or if you want me to do it intuitively, I can do it too. But yeah, so that's what I do. Also, Toltec Shaman course. Mike's actually a part of it, by the way. He's a student and a teacher. Yeah.
Get initiated next year.
Sedona. So we're starting off again another initiation round of Toltec shamanism. So if you guys are interested in learning how to do energy healing, how to interpret astrology, how to read tarot. Of course, if you guys already know that, you don't have to. You can listen because you got Mike, right? So you don't want to miss it. And then you'll learn about plant medicines, how to use them, ceremonies, how to work with your, how to connect to your galactic guides as well as to your animal spirits, totems, and all the nature spirits, and how to use a medicine wheel to help you balance, your energies. And you'll learn the Aztec horoscope too. Okay, so you're learning a lot of stuff. It's a whole year course, and it's all online. And then we're doing our initiation in Sedona, Arizona, next year in June. So we're starting the course June
Birthday
16th.
present
June 16th,
of
and
this year.
Mike's gonna be there.
Of
He's
this
a part of it. So he's gonna be a student too, so he'll be dropping in and out, and then he'll teach as well. And then we're gonna have other beautiful teachers teaching, like inner child, we crystal healing, as well as, I believe, mediumship. And so there's gonna be a lot of other people teaching as well. Jax Atlantis is gonna be there too, if you guys know Jax from High Vibe, or he was in High Vibe, now he's not. He's gonna be there teaching as well. And so then we're gonna have our initiation in Arizona, because I was called to the desert. So we had last initiation was in Colorado. I was called to the forest for that particular group. So this group is going to the desert and working with the vortexes. So
That's wild. Which is very profound, and everything's coming full circle for me because next year I basically complete the Saturn return, but like I was born in Phoenix. I never grew up in Phoenix. I instantly moved to Queens, New York. And it's like I went on this entire journey, and I'm coming back, landing in Phoenix to get initiated and start the next part of my journey. So
that's awesome, because that's the airport that we have to go into. so I was trying to look for like the closest airport and the cheapest, I would say, and that is Phoenix. So if you guys are gonna be a part of the group, then you know where to go.
So I'm looking forward to this.
We're gonna pick you guys up. We're gonna drive 2 hours to Sedona, stay in a nice house. You might have to share quarters though, okay, depending on how many people are gonna be in the class.
Right.
I'm speculating, and I'm kind of working towards 8 right now for this round. I think last time it was like 45 people, but only like 6 of them were able to initiate, and then the other ones are trickling in slowly. So you might find a person that already took the course in that group. Okay, so just letting you guys know.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's gonna be fun.
Beautiful. Well, first of all, I would like to welcome Shay to our membership group.
Yay, welcome.
Welcome to the Yin Yang Master Group. And outside of that, this is just amazing. This is awesome. The moon has already moved into Sagittarius, by the way. And
feel the fire.
The fuckery begins. The wildness.
The fuckery memes begin. Watch.
Right. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Like, you have no idea, when you left Instagram, I missed you so much. I was like, the meme plug is gone. And then you came back on the page, and I was like,
all I had to do was shit post all the time. shit post, meme. And then I would be like, here's some Aztec horoscopes. There you go. There's something serious. Like my Virgo rising was like, bitch, you better be serious, like for at least for 1 second in your life, And then my Pisces and my Sag is like, no, let's have fun.
Yes, that's
So,
it.
yeah, that's all I did, you guys. Honestly, that's what social media was
Her
like.
page is lit too. Y'all have no idea.
Because I was just like, what am I gonna post this for? Like, like, oh, that's such a Debbie Downer. Like everybody else is doing the Debbie Downer thing. I'm gonna do the funny shit.
Right.
Like.
And then what I love about being Gemini is that people always send you memes they'll never post, but they know you'll post.
Yeah, I always send you the sex ones. I'm like, I'm blushing. I can't do this.
My cheeks are hurting. Oh my
I was
god.
like, oh no. My Pisces mood. Oh no, that's offensive to whoever likes having sex in that way.
So it's like, oh, I'll post it. There we go. Nice.
That's the one I just
Let's
sent.
see who this pisses off today.
I forgot what I was like, post it. I think it was something about, oh my god, I think I have it here. I was like, I just sent it to him and like, post it. I don't know why I didn't want to post it. Hold on, like, I don't even remember what it was about.
It's so bad that my friends will share me memes, and before they can say don't post it, I post it. And they're like, why'd you post that? And I was like, oops. Oh shit.
Oh, this one, the one that I made for you, Gemini, Dear Diary. They're gonna learn today.
They
No,
like that one. That one was popular though.
Yeah, it was.
I'm telling y'all, see, she's my meme plug. She's where I'm getting these fire.
I wrote that one too. I was like, this needs a different thing. And then I'm trying to, okay, you guys, send him cat pictures because I'm trying to have him get a little kitty like I have. I have 3, and they're like the best spiritual allies ever. Like this
I've been getting
right here, he is vicious. He will run things out of the
I've
house.
been procrastinating, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm finally in the space for it, so I might as well get a cat.
Yeah.
I was thinking a black cat.
Ooh, yeah. So Rex, my little black cat. Oh, where is he? Rex.
Appreciate you, Juliet.
Rex. Baby kitty.
Shout out to Christy.
Rexy.
She got magic cats.
Oh, he's probably downstairs with Zach because that's his cat. So this dude is that's my cat. Obi. This is Obi-Wan. Hi, baby.
So this is another cat.
Yeah, this is Obi-Wan. He's a tabby.
I kept getting the impression that
he's my Capricorn.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a Capricorn.
Ooh. I should probably get
he runs shit out of the house. Like he is territorial, like especially with energy. He will be like, fuck off, like
I got the sense I'd be more psychic with the cat.
Yeah, no, well, you are psychic. It's just they're portal amplifiers. Mm-hmm. So there's like energy amplifiers, portal amplifiers. So if you open portals, they'll amplify it, like they'll sustain them, and then you could help you. They could actually help you close them too, and that's what he does. He closes them for me. Well, I close them, of course, but he makes sure, And this one right here, she's a calico. This one's Madeline. She's a healer. She's an energy healer because she knows when I'm stressed or when I'm upset. She'll come sit on me. Like right away. Wow. Like she'll be like, and sit on me, and I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Oh, baby.
I had a golden retriever for 10 years, so now it's like, okay, it's time for a cat. Yeah. But so do you have any final message for anyone who is walking this path?
Yeah. So I would say just, wherever you are on your journey, just trust it. Okay. I know sometimes we reach out to people and because we're trying to, relate, and we're curious too as to their perspectives. I just want to let you know if something doesn't feel right, like say somebody is making you feel in fear of your practice or what you're doing or things like that. You know what I mean? Question it. Okay. Question it. It's like, okay, what is this person interpreting about my energy and the words that I said, and also why is this happening? You know what I mean? Because I think that's the one thing that I've noticed in my own self too, where I've experienced things in that way because I had self-doubt. you know, and I had to experience someone telling me I was wrong many, many times in order for me to be like, I don't fucking need your interpretation because I have my own.
Right.
Okay. And just trust, okay, wherever you are in your journey, whatever you believe in, just trust, okay, because I, like I said, we all come here with different beliefs, different backgrounds, and that we are all a part of the universal puzzle, and we're all needed in order for this shift to happen, right? In order for us to all we're here for a reason, right? In order for us to assist other people, we will definitely connect with the people that we need to connect with, even if it's a person that tells you you're cuckoo in the head. You still need to experience that,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can trust and be more self-empowered more than anything. So
So
that's what I
true.
want to say.
And I would say from personal experience, it took me like near my whole life, like the first 20 to 30 years to really fully trust in myself. And I can thankfully say you were a major step in continuing to help me do that. So I will always appreciate and value and love you. Thank you so
I
much.
love you too.
Yeah.
Oh, my Pisces was like, ah, I love it.
And once I started trusting, that's when the adventure, the synchronicities, and the journey just gets so much more fun.
Yeah. My Virgo's like, don't ruin your makeup.
Right. Ah, right. My cap's like, don't get too sentimental. But y'all stay blessed as always. Thank you, Ari, for joining us once again.
Thank
And
you. Oh my God. It was
until
fun.
next time. Right. And yeah, you'll see us. You'll see more of us. Shout out to Clearsight. Shout out to Neighborhood Hope Dealer and everybody that's a part of the gang. Shout out to Lilac Ocean. Shout out to
Shout out
Maggie.
to everyone that I'm so blessed to have read for you guys and done energy work on you guys. I'm like continuously amazed at such beauty that I see in our community, and I'm just so hopeful for the future because we have people like you guys, doing your thing and bringing that energy here. Thank you.
Amen. Well, y'all stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.